Chapter 1276. Su Yimo and Zhao Anxin sensed that something was wrong in the room, and they could even hear someone saying Liang Biqin's name. A sense of foreboding gradually emerged in their hearts. What was going on? Why did someone say the person in the room was Liang Biqin? Taking advantage of the media's attention, they hurried to see what was going on. In the end, after seeing the situation inside, the two of them were like a bolt from the blue. Why was it Liang Biqin instead of Ningxi? How? How could it be Biqin? Su Yimo couldn't believe her eyes. Zhao Anxin was also going crazy. Where's Ningxi? Where's that bitch? No matter what was going on, it was over. This time, it was all over for him. They couldn't figure out how things had turned out like this. Seeing the waitress at the end of the corridor, Zhao Anxin ran to her angrily and gnashed her teeth. What's going on? Didn't I tell you to drug Ningxi? Looking at Zhao Anxin and Su Yimo, who were glaring at her, the waitress said innocently, I don't know. I really don't know what happened. You saw it with your own eyes when I drugged her. How did Ningxi become the person in the room? The waiter hurriedly told him that he had seen Ningxi just now. I saw Ningxi and President Sun enter the room with my own eyes, and then, when I was in the lobby, I didn't know why I saw Ningxi, who should have been in the room. She stayed at the front desk for a while, and I don't know what she was doing. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Zhao Anxin was furious. Ask her what she was doing there. Zhao Anxin had a feeling that this was the key to the problem. The waiter had no choice but to call the front desk. Then, his face suddenly changed, and he replied to the two of them with a trembling voice. Ning, she didn't stay in the room she booked before. I don't know why, but she booked a new room herself. This time, Su Yimo and Zhao Anxin were dumbfounded. It was obvious that Ningxi had seen through their plan, although they didn't know how she did it. Seeing their faces turning darker and darker, the waitress added, but the front desk told me that she saw a man enter Ningxi's room not long after Ningxi checked in. What? Are you serious? Zhao Anxin's acting skills immediately shone, and Su Yimo also looked over nervously. There shouldn't be a mistake. The waiter didn't dare to guarantee anything. Zhao Anxin and Su Yimo looked at each other, and in the end, Zhao Anxin said, no matter what, let's go check it out first. This time we'll go there ourselves. Su Yimo nodded and asked, where is Ningxi's room? It's upstairs, room 906, the waiter replied. The two of them didn't have time to think. They didn't even care about Liang Biqin, who was still crying for help in the room, and immediately rushed upstairs, standing in front of room 906. Zhao Anxin and Su Yimo took a deep breath. If there was really a man in Ningxi's room, then tonight's loss wouldn't be too bad. Anyway, the reporters were downstairs, and they could directly call them up. That wild man couldn't escape in time. 10th update. Chapter 1277. Are you sure it's Ningxi inside? This time, Zhao Anxin asked cautiously. The waiter was sure of it. I'm sure. You have to register with your real name, so it must be Ningxi. And I saw her go to the front desk with my own eyes, so I can't be wrong. Outside the door, Su Yimo took a deep breath and signaled the waiter with her eyes. Open the door. Be quiet. Don't alarm the person inside. Zhao Anxin reminded the waiter and immediately turned on the video recording on her phone, so that she could have first-hand evidence in case of any accidents. The waiter said awkwardly, my access card can only open rooms below the 8th floor. I can't open rooms here. Zhao Anxin frowned and said, then ring the doorbell and say it's room service. The waiter could only nod and ring the doorbell, pretending to be room service. After a while, the door was finally opened from the inside with a squeak. However, the next second, when they saw who it was, Su Yimo and Zhao Anxin, who had been holding their breath and waiting outside the door, were instantly horrified. Zhao Anxin's eyes widened and her face twisted. She looked so funny that she almost bit her tongue. President Liu. There was indeed a man in the room, but the person who opened the door was Liu Tingxiao. The man seemed to have just taken a shower. He was wearing a white bathrobe, and his hair was slightly wet. The sight of water slipping down his neck and into his clothes made Su Yimo's mouth go dry. Su Yimo's eyes were filled with deep infatuation. When she came back to her senses, she immediately became shy, and even her voice became soft and delicate. Ting! Mr. Liu, Zhao Anxin glared fiercely at the waiter beside her. This incompetent person actually made a mistake again. The man in this room wasn't Ningxi at all, but Lu Tingxiao. However, this was also an unexpected gain. In the past few days, she had been looking for a chance to apologize to Lu Tingxiao with Su Yimo. However, it was impossible for people like them to see Lu Tingxiao. Who would have thought that they would meet under such circumstances? Zhao Anxin quickly came up with an idea and said in fear and trepidation, "Boss Lu, I'm really sorry to disturb your rest so late. We came here because we heard that you would be staying here tonight. We would like to apologize for the trouble we have caused you. We, EMO, were completely unaware of those rumors. We also didn't know how things ended up being misunderstood like that. Of course, we didn't notice and clarify in time, causing you and your girlfriend trouble. We're really sorry about that." Su Yimo, who had been speechless because of Lu Tingxiao, was very satisfied with what she had said. As a manager, she could still be of some use at critical moments. At this moment, when the waitress heard that this person was the president of Lu Group, she was petrified. Oh my God! She couldn't believe that she would be able to meet such a legendary figure in her lifetime. He was really handsome, but how could the receptionist make such a mistake? Did she remember the room number wrong? After Zhao Anxin finished speaking, Su Yimo's eyes immediately turned red and tears rolled down her cheeks. She choked and bowed deeply to Lu Tingxiao. "Boss Lu, I apologize to you and your girlfriend for what happened before. If she still doesn't understand, I'm willing to explain and apologize to her in person." Chapter 1278. Su Yimo's shoulders trembled as she said this, as if she had been greatly wronged. The waitress couldn't bear to see her like this. Zhao Anxin nodded inwardly. Su Yimo's acting skills were on full display tonight. Zhao Anxin and Su Yimo didn't expect Lu Tingxiao to have the patience to listen to their explanation, but to their surprise, Lu Tingxiao just stood there and listened patiently. Then, the man looked at Su Yimo coldly and said calmly, "Are you going to apologize to my girlfriend?" Su Yimo immediately raised her tear-stained face. "Yes, as long as you can forgive me. I'm willing to do anything." Seeing this, Zhao Anxin's face was full of joy. It seemed there was a chance. Sure enough, all men couldn't stand a woman acting coquettishly and pitifully. At this moment, in the bedroom of the suite, Ningxi was concentrating on the script of a new show. Because it was too late and too far to go back, Ningxi and Lu Tingxiao planned to stay here for the night. Noticing that Lu Tingxiao hadn't come back after opening the door, Ningxi couldn't help but feel suspicious. She turned her head and called out lazily, "Sweetheart?" There seemed to be no response, so Ningxi scratched her head and walked barefoot to the door. At the door, Zhao Anxin and Su Yimo heard a woman's soft and pleasant sweetheart from inside the suite. Su Yimo's face turned pale. So Lu Tingxiao was with his girlfriend tonight? She had thought that Lu Tingxiao was the aloof and restrained type, even when he was in love, so the woman he liked should be the same type. Who knew that she would hear such a sweet call, looking at Lu Tingxiao's expression? That face that was originally cold, alienated, and unapproachable seemed to have melted like ice and snow. What kind of woman could make Lu Tingxiao dote on her so much? Not only Su Yimo, but Zhao Anxin was also very curious. The waitress wanted to take another look, but Zhao Anxin felt that she was in the way and had already driven her away with a look. A very light sound of footsteps on the soft carpet was heard. Su Yimo held her breath, restrained all kinds of complicated emotions in her eyes, and stared at the direction of the room. It was only a few seconds, but Su Yimo felt like centuries had passed. Finally, the person walked out from the corner. The girl seemed to have just taken a shower. Her face was flushed, and she was wearing a set of pink pajamas. Her jet black hair was lazily draped over her shoulders, and she was holding a thick stack of scripts with colorful labels in her hand. She walked towards the door with a suspicious look on her face. After seeing who the woman in the room was, Su Yimo felt as if a meteorite had crashed in her brain, creating a loud noise. Ning. She. Su Yimo's lips trembled, and she seemed to be on the verge of going crazy. Ningxi raised her eyebrows in surprise when she saw Su Yimo and Zhao Anxin at the door. But since she had already been seen, there was nothing she could do. Ningxi's attention was soon attracted by something more important. She quickly walked up to Lu Tingxiao, and with a frown, she pulled the collar of Lu Tingxiao's pajamas tighter. Looking at the girl's stingy look, Lu Tingxiao chuckled hoarsely. Then he took Ningxi's hand, and when he turned to the two people at the door, he instantly became distant and aloof. "Aren't you going to apologize to my girlfriend?" Chapter 1279. Your girlfriend is Ningxi. How could it be? How could it be Ningxi? That's impossible. That's impossible. Su Yimo shook her head mechanically and muttered, "How could it be?" Zhao Anxin's face turned ashen and she fell to the ground. Oh my God. Wrong. It was all wrong. When she saw that the man who opened the door was Lu Tingxiao, her first thought was that the room number was wrong. She didn't expect that the waiter was telling the truth. The room number was right, and it was Ningxi who lived in it. But the man the waiter was talking about was Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao's rumored mysterious girlfriend was Ningxi. And from the information Lu Jingli revealed that day, the two had been together for a long time. No wonder Lu Jingli went to poach Ningxi himself and asked Lin Jiji to take her out of the mountain. No wonder Lu Tingxiao never attended the anniversary celebration in the past. But this year, no wonder Lu Tingxiao rejected Su Yimo on the spot and then picked Ningxi as his dance partner. Zhao Anxin felt like she was going crazy. What scared her even more was that since Ningxi knew about their plan, Lu Tingxiao must have known about it too. Lu Tingxiao suddenly appeared here in the middle of the night. Was he here for this? They tried to set up Lu Tingxiao's woman and sent her to the bed of that pervert, Sun Zhanpeng. It was over. This time, it was all over. Zhao Anxin's body trembled violently. In extreme horror, she knelt down with a thud. Ningxi, Miss Ningxi, I didn't do it on purpose. I really didn't do it on purpose. It was all Su Yimo's idea. She said she wanted to give you to Sun Zhanpeng to please her. She called the reporters, and she heard that a man entered your room and wanted to catch you in the act. I was just following orders from the beginning to the end. Miss Ning, please forgive me this time. At that moment, Zhao Anxin wanted to slap herself to death. She was really blind. He worshipped a fake lady boss like she was a bodhisattva, and even helped the fake to frame the real owner. Lu Tingxiao wasn't just an ordinary businessman like he appeared to be. He was ruthless and ruthless. 5 years ago, he had single-handedly quelled the civil strife that had almost caused the collapse of the Lu Group. 5 years ago, he had pushed the Lu Group to the pinnacle. His businesses spanned across Southeast Asia and around the world. Killing a person like her would be as easy as killing an ant. Su Yimo was in a daze. She hadn't expected Zhao Anxin to betray her and blame everything on her. She could no longer maintain her image as a goddess, and she screamed, "Zhao Anxin, I will tear your mouth apart. Weren't you the one who manipulated public opinion to use Mr. Lu? Everything that happened tonight was your doing, and you're pushing all the blame onto me." She hated him so much. How hateful. Why wasn't she Lu Tingxiao's woman? Even if it was someone else, she could accept it, but why was it Ningxi? Why did it have to be Ningxi? Su Yimo regretted coming here to frame Ningxi. If it hadn't been for what happened tonight, she would still be a high and mighty superstar. But now, it was too late to say anything. Lu Tingxiao's frosty face revealed a trace of impatience as he watched the two of them quarrel endlessly. Soon after, a few bodyguards in black clothes appeared out of nowhere and dragged the two of them away at an extremely fast speed. Chapter 1280. Ningxi watched as Su Yimo and Zhao Anxin suddenly appeared and were dragged away. Don't worry, they won't tell anyone. Lu Tingxiao closed the door, blocking out the pungent smell of perfume left by the two women outside. Ning, she shrugged. Oh, I'm not worried about that. They're the last people in the world who will tell anyone about our relationship. Sorry, I promised you I wouldn't interfere with your work, but not this time. Lu Tingxiao seemed determined to deal with the two women. Ning, she scratched her head. But she saved Xiao Bao, although he didn't know that Su Yimo had crashed into another car that almost hit Xiao Bao while drunk driving. He still saved Xiao Bao. Lu Tingxiao looked very serious. She almost hurt you. In other words, wife, you are more important. More important than our son. Okay. Looking at Lu Tingxiao's serious face, Ning, she stood on tiptoe and kissed his chin. Okay, I got it. You can deal with it however you want. Okay. The man nodded seriously, not revealing that he was helping his wife get rid of the obstacle and speed up the process of marrying him. Lu Tingxiao didn't want these people to occupy his rare time alone with Ning Shi. He glanced at the script in Ning Shi's hand and changed the topic. The script for a new show? Yes. Do you want to review it? Ning Shi asked. No. Guiqixing's show is almost perfect. Besides, he made it for you, Lu Tingxiao answered. Ning Shi blinked and said in surprise, Oh, how did you know? Just a guess. Lu Tingxiao said, My wife is so excellent, so it's only natural. Okay, you're almost a god. Ning Shi held the script and leaned comfortably in Lu Tingxiao's arms. The two of them flipped through the script together. Mr. Kun Mingyu, who doesn't care about fame and fortune, do you have a role in mind? Ning Shi teased. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the list of actors. After a while, he pointed at one of the names. Ning Shi looked at it. Lu Yan? Yes. Seeing that name, the corner of Ning Shi's mouth twitched. You really know how to choose. Lu Tingxiao replied. Thank you for the compliment, madam. Ning, she was speechless. Then she looked at Lu Yan's introduction and clicked her tongue. Lu Yan, the shadow guard of the female lead. She doesn't have many scenes, but almost all of them are scenes with me. The most important thing is the only sex scene I have in a movie is not with the male lead, but with Lu Yan, Ning, she said, raising her eyebrows and squinting at the man. Did you choose this role because of the former reason or the latter reason? Lu Tingxiao said with a straight face, both. Ning Shi, okay, there's nothing wrong with this answer. Lu Tingxiao and Ning Shi were leisurely chatting and reading scripts in a room, while more and more reporters gathered downstairs. Not only because of what happened to Liang Biqin, but also because they saw Su Yimo and Zhao Anxin being thrown out by two bodyguards like sacks. That night, the news spread in the circle. The next morning, as soon as the entertainment gossip headlines appeared on all the major websites, it caused a sensation in the entire entertainment industry. Almost everyone was discussing it. Chapter 1281. The screen was filled with headlines like Liang Biqin sleeps with Lu Tingxiao and Liang Biqin sleeps with Lu Tingxiao and related photos and videos. Su Yimo was expelled for seducing Lu Tingxiao and Su Yimo was banned, were all over the headlines. The entire internet was in chaos a few days ago. Everyone was still talking about Su Yimo. Who would have thought that there would be such an explosive development? Xianxia Entertainment's PR department was ringing off the hook for the entire morning. Xianxia Entertainment had lost 3 of its best members, and Yi Sudong was extremely busy. However, the employees and female artists who had been oppressed by Su Yimo were overjoyed. They were just short of celebrating publicly. Starlight Entertainment was the happiest company in the industry. As the industry leader, Starlight Entertainment had always been suppressed by the up-and-coming Xianxia Entertainment. How could they not be happy when they saw Xianxia Entertainment's misfortune? Of course, not everyone in Starlight Entertainment was so happy. Ning Shuo threw away the newspaper on her phone, her expression extremely ugly. What the hell is Su Yimo doing? She had been counting on Su Yimo to make a move. That way, she would be able to get rid of Ning Shi with a borrowed knife. Who knew that Su Yimo would end up like this? A few days ago, when Su Yimo was publicly humiliated by Lu Tingxiao, Ning Shuo wasn't worried at all when she saw that Su Yimo had lost her backer. Instead, she was even more convinced that Su Yimo would be more eager to get rid of Ning Shi now that she had lost her backer. Ning Shuo was in a good mood these days. She was waiting for Ning Shi's downfall. But who knew that Su Yimo, Liang Biqin, and Zhao Anxin would all be wiped out? Chong Li's brows furrowed as she mused. Logically speaking, Xianxia shouldn't have made such a mistake. How did you let someone get hold of such an important weakness, and it happened to be photographed by a reporter? The three of them couldn't even beat Ningxi. What a bunch of idiots. Ningxi was furious. Sigh, this is going to be troublesome. Without Su Yimo, she will be even more arrogant. She's Lu Jingli's direct descendant, and she's become famous recently. I'm afraid all the opportunities that belong to Su Yimo at Lu Corporation will fall into her hands. Chong Li's face was filled with worry. Who would have thought that Ningxi, who used to be inflexible and inflexible, would now be like a fish in water in the entertainment industry? Even Su Yimo was defeated by her. Ningxi's every step since she entered the circle was calculated step by step. She climbed up step by step, and her speed was frightening. Chongli didn't dare to think about it anymore. Otherwise, she would vomit to death from regret. Things had come to this point. There was no turning back. Ning Shuo gritted her teeth angrily and dialed Ningxi's number. Hey, sister, congratulations. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Ningxi was not surprised to receive Ning Shuo's call. What's up? Ning Shui said, come out and meet me. Ningxi sure. She could basically guess why Ning Shuo was looking for her. Since she was free now, it would be good to play with her. An hour later, in a private room of a cafe, Ning Shuo went straight to the point. I won't keep you in suspense. I'm sure you know why I'm looking for you. I can buy the 10% shares you have at a price 30% higher than the market price. Of course, I can't take out all of that money at once. I can use the shares of history to make up for the missing part. Chapter 1282. Ning Shuo looked pained when she said this. Obviously, she wouldn't have offered such a high price if she hadn't been forced to. Ningxi chuckled. History shares, Ning Shuo snorted. You know that history shares are still very valuable. Don't worry, you won't lose anything. Originally, she was counting on Su Yimo to kill Ningxi, but now things had turned out like this. She couldn't delay the matter of the shares. In case anything unexpected happened, her top priority was to quickly take back the 10% shares from Ningxi. She said calmly, actually, I'm not interested in the Ning family shares at all. Hearing this, Ning Shuo's eyes lit up. The next second, Ningxi continued, but I won't give it to you even if I feed it to a dog. You! Ning Shuo slammed the table and stood up. She was clearly mocking her for being worse than a dog. Ning Shuo's eyes were gloomy. Ningxi, don't forget that I still have something on you. If I expose your scandal back then. Ningxi didn't seem to care at all. She held her chin and said slowly, then let's see if it's my gossip or your fake daughter's gossip. Ning Shuo's expression changed, and she almost vomited blood. In the end, the two parted on bad terms. Speaking of which, the Ning family was quite tacit. She had just seen Ning Shuo when Ning Yaobang called her. Xiaoxi, my dear niece, do you have time to come out for a meal? Second uncle's treat. Ning Yaobang was such a scumbag who tried everything he could to coax his wife into cheating and having illegitimate children one after another. She was so disgusted that she didn't even have the mood to deal with him. She hung up the phone. Seeing that it was almost time, she went home and changed into men's clothes. Then, she went to the advertising department of Lu Enterprises building for the audition. This time, the Lu Group had invested a huge sum of money to create this short commercial called 7 Days. They had invited 7 super popular male stars and filmed the 7 major industries under the Lu Group. It would be released on all the brands under the Lu Group and had a great influence. Even though the employees of Lu Group were well-trained under Lu Tingxiao's guidance, they couldn't restrain themselves when they found out that there would be 7 male idols of different styles coming for the audition that day. They spent the entire morning there, their souls hooked to who knows where. When Ningxi arrived, the whole office building was filled with screams. Surrounded by a group of female employees, the guy with golden hair, huge black sunglasses, and a roguish smile was none other than Jiang Mai. Judging from the reactions of the female employees, Lu Tingxiao had probably gone down for an inspection and had yet to return to the company. Someone in the crowd screamed in Ningxi's direction. Then, Those female employees who were originally surrounding Jiang Mai instantly abandoned Jiang Mai and rushed towards Ning Shi like a tide. Brother Shi, Brother Shi, Brother Shi hubby, idol, I love you. Slow down, be careful. Ning Shi held a girl who was almost pushed by someone. The women screamed even more excitedly in response. Jiang Mai, who was holding a pen behind her, was speechless. Chapter 1283. Looking at Ning Shi's terrifying popularity among the girls, Jiang Mai's heart almost collapsed. Not long ago, he had told Ning Shi that she was still far from him. But in the blink of an eye, it had become the new wave pushes the old wave, and the old wave dies on the beach. There was another thing that made him feel sick. Some time ago, he and Ning Shi were on the same list. The list of male idols in the entertainment circle that the girls wanted to sleep with the most. Jiang Mai had been the champion for many years. He never expected that he would be pushed down by Ning Shi this year. Last night, when his agent Lei Ming sent him a screenshot of the list, he almost spat blood on the game console. The first name on the list was Ning Shi. Motherfucker, he was killed by someone. And this person turned out to be his ex-girlfriend. Damn it. This scene was so beautiful that his eyes were filled with tears of blood. Wasn't this a list of male stars? How could a woman like her enter it? Does this list have any authority or integrity at all? He wanted to make a phone call to complain. He had been stimulated enough last night. At this moment, after experiencing the scene with his own eyes, Jiang Mai was so tired that he wanted to quit the entertainment circle. Hey, you guys, did anyone come talk to him? However, the girls had been flirted with by Ning Shi. They were all high-level white-collar and gold-collar girls, but now they were all hoarse in front of Ning Shi like little girls who had their first awakening of love. He couldn't bear to look at them anymore. The scene seemed to be getting out of control. Even Lu Ruohua, the director of Lu Tingxiao's secretary office, took the lead to be infatuated with Ning Shi, let alone the other girls. Just then, the elevator door opened with a ding sound. A series of steady and powerful footsteps that could make all the employees in the company tremble with fear sounded. The man strode in, his cold gaze sweeping across the crowd with an incomparably sharp gaze. The atmosphere in the staff area suddenly changed from the equator to the North Pole. Lu Ruohua pushed her black-rimmed glasses up her face and shouted coldly, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Hurry up and get to work." All the female employees scattered and cursed in their hearts. "Sister Lu, it seemed that you were the craziest just now. You almost took off your clothes and asked for his autograph." The employees were busy with their work, and Lu Tingxiao looked at Ning Shi calmly. Ning Shi went up to greet him respectfully. "Hello, Boss Lu." Lu Tingxiao nodded slightly and then walked toward his office. God knows, he couldn't wait to drag his wife into the office with him. After Lu Tingxiao went in, the whispers outside resumed. "What a pity. Why did the boss come back so early? Didn't you say you'd only be back in the afternoon? I'm so sad. It's such a great opportunity. Although Brother Shi is my new favorite now, I also want the other Prince Charming's autographs. The happiest one must be Director Yi. I really suspect that she is abusing her power to make this commercial." At this point, Secretary Zhao suddenly thought of something and said, "Shouldn't the female lead of this commercial be the happiest? Acting alongside the 7 male gods." "All right, who's the female lead?" Little Zhao shook his head. "I'm not sure about that. I've asked Director Yi a few times, but he refused to tell me. He's quite mysterious." Notice, in order to let everyone know the update and other relevant information in time, the old antique author, Jun, who hasn't had a reader group for many years, was so dizzy last night that he didn't have much time to write. He rushed to upload 2 chapters first. "I'm going to sleep now. I may only be able to get up in the afternoon to continue writing. Also, the QQ group has been upgraded. Those who didn't get in yesterday can try again today." Chapter 1284. Jiang Mai's mouth twitched as he watched Lu Tingxiao walk into the office. Lu Tingxiao came at the right time. Did he have to be so vigilant against girls? Without the female staff blocking the way, Ning, Shi, and Jiang Mai walked toward the advertising department. Jiang Mai glanced at Ning, Shi as he walked, and mumbled, "Ning Xiaoxi, are you a henpecked husband now?" Ning Shi raised her eyebrows and squinted at him. "I like it." Jiang Mai was so choked that he ground his teeth. Who was the one who said that he loved freedom and was unrestrained? Who was the one who was being controlled now? Doesn't your conscience hurt? Ning, she said, "I'm willing to suffer 100 times if I can get my sweetheart back in my heart." Jiang Mai, that's what you get for saying. You've suffered so many losses. Why did you still mention this to me? Jiang Mai and Ning, she were talking. When they passed by Lu Tingxiao's office, Lu Tingxiao seemed to have something to do a few steps behind them. He pushed the door open and happened to hear their conversation. His pair of cold eyes instantly lit up like the sun. The moment Jiang Mai and Ning, she stepped into the advertising department, they saw several people sitting in the office. There were 2 men sitting on the leather sofa opposite them, one on the south and the other on the north. Qin Ran was in a classic sportswear, and Han Yunqing was listening to music with headphones on. Both of them were extraordinarily handsome, full-fledged beauties. They used to be the main force of the popular boy group T, but later they fell out after going solo. Both of them took the route of little fresh meat and had always been in a competitive relationship. Looking at the atmosphere, it seemed that their relationship was as tense as the rumors said. On the wooden chair by the window, a handsome man in a white shirt was holding a book in his hand and reading attentively. He was Luo Fan from Starlight Entertainment. The last one was Li Lakai from Fashion Entertainment. He was wearing a leather jacket, chewing gum, and had hair gel on his head. He was an arrogant and crazy man. Tut, 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 at the door. Ning, she couldn't help but sigh when she saw the scene in the office. What a feast of beauties. In the entire Huan nation, perhaps only the Lu group had such influence to gather such a few people. In terms of popularity, Ning, she had just become famous a few days ago, while the people sitting here, including Jiang Mai, had been famous for a long time. Each of them was powerful in the entertainment industry and had a large number of die-hard fans who would go through hell and high water for them. However, Qin Ran, Han Yunqing, Luo Fan, Li Lakai, 1, 2, 3, 4, including her and Jiang Mai, there are only 6 of them. Ning Shimai, you're here too. Please take a seat. Wait a moment. We'll start when Mo Chinxiu arrives. Yi Ying politely greeted the 2 of them. As soon as Yi Ying finished her words, Ning Shi's expression suddenly froze. Fuck. Mo Chinxiu. Did she hear wrongly just now? Ning Xiaoxi, what's with your expression? After finding a place to sit down, Jiang Mai couldn't help but ask when he noticed Ning Shi's strange expression. Ning Shi pinched the space between her eyebrows, feeling a headache coming on. Her dark face looked like she had just fucked a dog. Jiang Mai frowned and said, "Do you know Mo Chinxiu? What's the entanglement between you two that makes you look like this?" Ning Shi took a deep look at Jiang Mai. Jiang Mai's hair stood on end. "I'm asking you a question. Why are you looking at me?" Ning Shi put on an expression that said, "Well, we've got some entanglements in the past. My situation with Mo Chinxiu is probably similar to yours and mine." Jiang Mai's eyes immediately widened. "Fuck, Mo Chinxiu is your ex-boyfriend?" Chapter 1285. Ning Shi crossed her legs and rested her chin on her hands, looking hopeless. Damn it. She wondered why God would be so kind to let her live such a smooth and easy life. Sure enough, her love affair had come again. Jiang Mai's eyes widened like light bulbs. But after a while, he thought about Mo Chinxiu's reputation and realized that it was not strange. Jiang Mai pinched his eyebrows and said angrily in a low voice, "You really think you're the guardian of girls? You've been enforcing justice on behalf of God, but you've caused yourself so much trouble. Let's see how you deal with it later. Not everyone is as easy to deal with as me." Ning, she sighed. She had been living like a walking dead. What was there to be afraid of? Naturally, she did whatever she wanted. She had never thought that this day would come. Jiang Mai's heart softened when he saw her sigh and worry. He asked worriedly, "Have you seen a psychiatrist since you came back? It's okay when you were abroad. No one knows about you. You won't act up again after coming back, will you?" Jiang Mai asked seriously. Ning, she shook her head and looked like she was recalling something. Dr. Smith told me that I had recovered from the moment I decided to come back. Hearing that, Jiang Mai's face softened a little. He somewhat understood what Dr. Smith meant. For Ning Shi, having a goal and motivation to live was like getting a new life. Later, I was in a bad mood and went to the nightclub to beat up some scumbags. But that was before I became famous, so it didn't affect me much, Ning Shi said. Jiang Mai thought for a while and felt that he had asked too much. Now that she had Lu Tingxiao as her psychiatrist, she was living a good life. Why would she need a doctor? Speaking of this, Jiang Mai suddenly stuck his butt in front of Ning Shi and said with a bright face, "What's going on between you and Mo Xianxia? Tell me." If Mo Xianxia was worse off than him, he would be comforted. Ning Shi patted Jiang Mai's hand as if she was patting dust. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. Be careful. Jiang Mai glanced at the others who were doing their own things. Be careful, my ass. Look, who here treats you as a woman? Ning Shi, well, when everyone saw her arm around Jiang Mai's shoulder, they were all extremely calm. No one felt that there was anything wrong. Tell me quickly, Jiang Mai urged anxiously. The corners of Ning Shi's mouth twitched. If you keep being so gossipy, you'll catch up to your second uncle. At the same time, Lu Tingxiao's office. Lu Jingli rushed in like a gust of wind. Brother, his wife was almost gone. Why are you still sitting here? It was a very familiar line. Lu Tingxiao lifted his head from the pile of documents and glanced at Lu Jingli. Then, he went back to his work with a carefree expression. It was the calmness of the legal wife. Moreover, his wife had just stuffed a sweet candy into his mouth. Lu Jingli acted as if the emperor was not anxious, but the eunuch was anxious to death. Hey, brother, don't ignore me. This time, it was really serious. Level 1 alert. No, special class. 6. Little Cece will have to work with 6 handsome men who are as beautiful as flowers and jade. Lu Tingxiao still did not respond. Lu Jingli was anxious. Little Cece's ex-boyfriends are all over the entertainment circle. What if one of the 6 men is her? Oh no, there's already Jiang Mai. What if there's another one? Continue writing. Please wait a moment. Chapter 1286. In the advertising department, Jiang Mai urged Ning Shi for a long time, but Ning Shi refused to say anything. She just smiled and enjoyed Jiang Mai's anxious look. Not far away, Li Kai, who was bored of staying alone, walked up to Luo Fan while chewing gum. He looked in the direction of Jiang Mai and Ning Shi and said, "Hey, Luo Fan, what do you think is the relationship between them?" Luo Fan put down the book in his hand and looked at Qin Haodo. They're good friends. After all, they're in the same company and they are fellow students. Luo Fan had no background. The most important reason he could make it in this circle was that he had a high EQ, knew how to behave, and acted cautiously. Naturally, he gave a watertight answer to this kind of question. Li Kai curled his lips. He thought Luo Fan was too hypocritical and boring, so he went to find Qin Ran. As time went by, Mo Xianxia still hadn't arrived. The people in the room began to look impatient. It was always others who waited for them. There was no reason for them to wait. Was Mo Xianxia taking advantage of his fame? He just won an award in Spain. It's not one of the 4 major international film festivals. What's there to be proud of? No matter how popular he is, his rotten private life has worn away most of his popularity. Li Kai had a belly full of anger from waiting, so he had no scruples when he started to complain. Qin Ran and Han Yunqing were getting impatient. If it wasn't for the fact that the Lu group had invited them, they would have left already. Except for Jiang Mai, who kept trying to pry information from Ning Shi, Luo Fan was the only one in the room who was calm from beginning to end. I'm really sorry. Please wait for a moment. Xianxia must have been delayed by something. I'll call him and ask him again. During this time, Yi Ying had been patiently comforting them and speaking for Mo Xianxia. She was very gentle and polite. Yes, Yi Ying was Mo Xianxia's die-hard fan. Although, I don't want to admit it, Mo Xianxia's skills are higher than mine. How did you deal with him? At this time, Jiang Mai, who was scratching his head curiously, suddenly thought of a question. That's not right. That guy is very vengeful. You have been in the entertainment circle for so long. but he hasn't made trouble for you. Maybe he didn't recognize you? He didn't recognize me in women's clothes, Xianxia answered. Then what are you worried about? Jiangmai was speechless. Xianxia looked at Jiangmai as if he was an idiot. But he can recognize my men's clothes. Jiangmai was a little confused. The more he listened, the more confused he became. What do you mean? Xianxia had enough suspense. Finally, she said quietly, Are you an idiot? What I meant was that I was dressing as a man to mess with him. Fuck me, Jiangmai exclaimed. When he saw the others looking at him, he lowered his voice and said, Damn it. Did you turn him gay by pretending to be a man? Xianxia shrugged. It seems so, Jiangmai said with a sorrowful expression. Too cruel. You're too ruthless. It turned out that Xi's move against him was still considered light. It turned out that there was an existence even more miserable than him. Jiangmai had been suffering for so many years. At this moment, he felt as if he had been redeemed. Then wouldn't you die a horrible death? Jiangmai suddenly said, This hatred, it was so great. Of course. Otherwise, why do you think I'm worried? Xianxia said with an expression that said, Of course, it's a tricky situation that makes me worry. Chapter 12, 87. Jiangmai had a look of amazement on his face. He couldn't help but admire her. You're all so awesome. I'm convinced. She touched her chin. Xianxia is the one who has received the highest treatment from me. I can't help it. He's such a jerk. Jiangmai was a jerk. He had been influenced by the environment since he was a child. He was too popular and easy to get, but he didn't know how to cherish it. He changed women quickly and didn't care. In his mind, there was no such thing as faithful, but at least he didn't cheat on her during the relationship. But Xianxia was different. The guy had no moral bottom line or even ethics. Cheating was a common occurrence, and he took pleasure in a girl's pain. He especially liked those innocent girls who were ignorant of the ways of the world. With his good looks, who knew how many girls he had harmed? A girl who tried to commit suicide for him would go around the capital. He was simply insane, not to mention bending him. Even breaking him would be considered a light punishment. Jiangmai was in a good mood. Tut, I thought I was the one who got the highest treatment. Now do you know how gentle I am to you? I know. Hey, why hasn't Xianxia come yet? I'm looking forward to his expression when he sees you. Jiangmai said excitedly. Speak of the devil. With a squeak, Ying pushed the door open and came in. Her face was flushed, and a tall and slender man followed behind her. The man was wearing a custom-made Armani suit and a pair of big sunglasses. His hair was flaxen, and the obsidian earrings on his ears glowed with a cold luster. After taking off the sunglasses, a very handsome face with a hint of mixed race was revealed. The moment he took off the sunglasses, the man seemed to be looking for someone. His eyes quickly swept around the room like a sharp knife. 3 seconds later, he fixed his eyes on the man beside Jiangmai. His face was extremely ugly, as if he was going to pounce on that person and strangle that person at any time. This reaction was not much different from what Xianxia had expected. After receiving the man's gaze, Xianxia raised the corner of her mouth with a smile. She looked like a wolf with a big tail, which made the man lose control and almost rush over. Fortunately, his last shred of reason allowed him to restrain his emotions. After all, if he were to make a scene here, wouldn't the embarrassing fact that he had been turned gay be known by others? Xianxia probably relied on this point to be fearless. Although this matter was indeed tricky, she would not be afraid of anyone except her sweetheart. After Xianxia took off his sunglasses, Ying, who was next to him, stared at his face in a daze. She almost forgot to speak. After a long while, she came back to her senses and said, Sorry to keep everyone waiting. Xianxia was late because there was a traffic jam. Let's go to the location of the audition. Jiangmai couldn't help feeling disappointed that Xianxia couldn't bear to watch the show. He yawned lazily and stood up. Qin ran. Han Yunqing and Luo Fan also stood up. There's a traffic jam at this time. Who are you trying to fool? The others chose to keep the peace, but Lila Kai wasn't so easily fooled. Well, Ying looked a little embarrassed. Director Yi, I came here because I believe in your company. Now you've invited this guy with such a bad character and bad reputation to shoot an advertisement with us. Haven't you thought about it? If it's light, it will affect our reputation. If it's heavy, it will ruin the reputation of your Lu group. Li Lakai said fiercely. As soon as Li Lakai finished speaking, the atmosphere in the room became a little awkward. Ying was about to smooth things over when she heard Xianxia's indifferent tone. He said quietly, "Tut, Li Lakai, I just slept with your woman. Why do you still hate me?" Chapter 1288. Everyone at the scene was dumbfounded, and their faces were filled with bewilderment because it happened a long time ago. Not many people knew about it. Of course, Li Lakai couldn't tell anyone that he had been cuckolded. Who would have thought that Xianxia would say it in such a tone and attitude? Only Xianxia would do something like flirting with someone else's woman and provoking them with a nonchalant expression on his face. The next second, a figure flashed by. Li Lakai dashed over and threw a punch. Xianxia dodged the punch and threw his sunglasses at Xianxia. His eyes flashed with excitement. It was obvious that he was a man who wanted to stir up trouble. The two of them fought back and forth until the sky was dark. The scene suddenly became a mess. Ying was so anxious that she kept trying to persuade them, but it was useless. The tricky thing was that she couldn't call security to prevent the matter from getting out. Not far away, Jiao was speechless. Shouldn't you and Xianxia be the ones who should be fighting? Why did it become Li Lakai? This wasn't going according to the script at all. She sighed as she watched the show. God is on the side of the righteous. I didn't expect this to happen. Qin Ran was surprised. Han Yunqing, who hadn't talked to Qin Ran since they came in, couldn't help but say, "What's so strange about it? Xianxia has cheated on many people in the entertainment industry. It's just a matter of whether he cheated on them or not." Qin Ran chuckled and looked over. "You know it so well. Have you been cheated on too? Get lost." Han Yunqing glared at him. But Xianxia has been quiet for the past few years. Come to think of it, it was 3 years ago that he suddenly turned over a new leaf. Not only did he sever all relationships with women, but he even stopped getting close to women. He walked the path of abstinence. Because of his repentance and good attitude, he regained his popularity, Qin Ran analyzed. Maybe it's because of the pressure from the company. He's just pretending. Who knows what he's like in private? Han Yunqing snorted. "That's true. Stop fighting. Xianxia Lakai, both of you stop fighting. If there's anything, we can talk about it." Ying anxiously persuaded, but even she herself felt that her words were a little untenable. Ying looked at the two of them in fear. She was afraid that they would get hurt, especially their faces. Otherwise, the commercial shooting plan would be put on hold. She had single-handedly been in charge of this extremely important advertisement, but she did not expect it to end up like this. Ying was so anxious that she was about to cry. Unable to persuade him, she finally called the security guards over. "Hee, that woman is like a dead fish in bed. I didn't expect you to like this kind of boring type." Xianxia did not forget to provoke him as he fought. In the next second, Ying's face was full of panic as she exclaimed, "Ah, don't." Both of them knew that they couldn't hurt Xianxia's face, so they still had a trace of rationality when they fought. However, Xianxia was asking for it. Li Lakai's fist immediately swung heavily towards Xianxia's face. At the same time, Xianxia naturally did not want to be outdone and attacked his opponent's eyes. Ying closed her eyes in despair. A gust of wind flashed in front of her with a swoosh. When she opened her eyes, she saw that the scene she expected did not happen. Ningxi was quite far away just now. She didn't know how she got there, but she firmly separated the two of them with one move. Chapter 1289. One had to know that when two big men fought in a state of anger, the strength would definitely not be light. If one tried to stop the fight at this time, there was an 80% chance that they would be affected. Therefore, Qin Ran, Han Yunqing, and Luo Fan did not want to intervene. Instead, they stayed far away. What a joke. Did they know how much insurance they had bought for their bodies? Even the slightest delay in work, and time was money. If they rushed over and got punched in the face, who would be responsible for it? When Xianxia and Li Lakai's fists were about to hit each other, Ningxi blocked Li Lakai's wrist with one hand and firmly held Xianxia's fist with the other. The two of them were shaken away. Xianxia's fist, which was held by Ningxi, suddenly shrank back as if he had been electrocuted. His face was extremely ugly, and he suddenly lost interest in fighting with Li Lakai. Li Lakai, however, was not willing to let it go. As soon as he was pushed away, he threw himself at Xianxia with bloodshot eyes. Ningxi directly blocked Li Lakai's right shoulder and said in his ear, "If there's anything, you two can find a place to settle it. Why do you have to make things difficult for a girl?" Li Lakai looked at Ying, whose eyes were red with anxiety. He clenched his fist hard and put down. Ying was actually a shiver. She liked Xianxia's naughtiness. However, when Ningxi appeared between the two of them like the wind and said those words, Ying's outlook on life was somewhat subverted. She seemed to have fallen in love with someone else. When so many female employees in the company were so infatuated with Ningxi, she did not waver. She thought that no matter how well she played the role of a man in the movie, she was still a girl. But now, this boyfriend power was simply amazing. Not far away, Jiang Mai looked at Yi Ying's sparkling eyes and was speechless. Well, he had gained another fan in such a short time. Xianxia was still staring at the hand that Ningxi had just touched. His expression was strange, and no one knew what he was thinking. Li Lakai probably thought of the importance of this advertisement and had calmed down a little. The conflict between the two of them was finally temporarily suppressed. Ying quickly diverted their attention and led them to the multi-purpose room for the audition. Qin Ran stood up and murmured to himself, "I didn't expect Xianxia and Li Lakai to have such an explosive secret." When Qin Ran said that, he would never have guessed that the secret between Xianxia and Ningxi was the real deal. When a group of people passed by the staff area, they saw such a rare gathering of beauties in the entertainment industry. If it weren't for their boss suppressing them, they would have gone crazy. Soon, they arrived at the audition venue. The so-called audition was just a formality. They had to audition for the roles they were going to play in front of the director of the commercial. The director was the most famous advertising director in the country, Mai Huan. Even people like them had to be polite when they saw him. "Director, everyone is here," Ying said. At this time, Mai Huan had just prepared the props and equipment. Seeing this, he looked at the 7 people behind Ying with an excited expression. Obviously, they were also very interested in this film. "Hello, Director Mai. How was the purple clay teapot from last time?" Luo Fan took the initiative to greet him. Chapter 1290. The director immediately grinned from ear to ear. "Not bad, not bad. It's a work of art, especially the carvings on the body of the pot. It's amazing. Even I can't bear to use it. I didn't expect you to have such a skill." It sounded like Luo Fan had given him a handmade purple clay pot. It was obvious that he knew Mai Huai liked it. The others also went over to greet the director one by one. Seeing Luo Fan being so successful, they couldn't help but feel a little disdainful. However, it was undeniable that this guy was really good at this. Even a professional manager couldn't compare to him. It was said that he was in charge of his activities, work arrangements, and a series of other things. Just then, Han Yunqing looked around and suddenly asked, "Why don't I see the female lead?" Qin Ran smiled. "Director Yi, don't tell me you still want to keep it a secret?" Ying replied with a smile. "No, the female lead is already here today." "She's here? Why don't I see her?" "Director Yi, does the female lead you found know how to turn invisible?" Qin Ran looked around and teased. Ying laughed. "She doesn't know how to turn invisible, but she can transform." Qin Ran was puzzled. "What do you mean?" Luo Fan reacted quickly. His eyes flashed and he said, "Could the female lead be Ningxi?" As soon as he said that, everyone, including Luo Fan, looked in Ningxi's direction. Ningxi blinked innocently. "Me?" Ying nodded affirmatively. "That's right. Actually, we were going to hire another female lead, but on the last day of our group meeting, We always thought that Miss Ning was more suitable. Hearing this, Ningxi thought for a while and felt that the idea of her playing two roles was indeed quite interesting. As for the others, although they were a little surprised, they didn't have any objections. They didn't have any relationship with a female artist like Ningxi. Although it was easy to forget that she was a woman, this was a good opportunity. She didn't try to be modest. Thank you, Director Yi, for thinking so highly of me. I'll try my best to act well. I've seen your Dream Seeker. It's really good. You don't feel any pressure dressing up as a man or a woman. I believe you can do it, Brother Shi. Yi Ying's tone became much more intimate with Ningxi, and she even talked about the plot of the play with Ningxi. Xianxia had long been accustomed to this scene. However, from the corner of his eye, he noticed that Xianxia was looking at Ningxi and Yi Ying chatting happily with each other. Xianxia was too familiar with that look. This guy was actually jealous? Fuck. After being abused like this guy still liked Ningxi? This was indeed a ruthless move. Thinking of this, Xianxia had an inexplicable feeling that they were in the same boat at the same time in the president's office. Lu Jingli pestered Lu Tingxiao for a long time, but Lu Tingxiao remained as still as a rock. He was so anxious that he scratched his ears and cheeks. Do you know who the female lead of this commercial is? It was little Cece. It was little Cece. In the film, little Cece has to date 6 gorgeous male actors. Lu Tingxiao put down the pen in his hand and stood up. Seeing this, Lu Jingli was overjoyed. Brother, is it because you finally understand the seriousness of the matter? I didn't waste half an hour trying to persuade you. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the happy Lu Jingli and said expressionlessly, because you are too noisy. Lu Jingli. Chapter 1291. In the audition room, the director was assigning roles to everyone. The main content of this commercial was the story of the female lead being pursued by 7 different types of handsome men. Many popular VVs had similar plots, but Lu Enterprises had hired these 7 people to bring the plot to the extreme. The main purpose of this commercial was to satisfy the fantasies of young women and expand the brand's influence and attractiveness among this group of customers. In terms of purchasing power, women were definitely the main force at the moment. The director took the script and glanced at everyone. Well, Qin Ran, you'll play the rich young master. No problem. Qin Ran agreed without hesitation. He seemed to be quite satisfied with the assignment. Han Yunqing, you look the most tender and young. You'll play the student and become the most popular school hunk. Han Yunqing nodded. Okay. The director looked at Luo Fan, who was smiling. Luo Fan, you'll play the professor from the School of Biological Sciences. Luo Fan, you're so knowledgeable and talented. You're acting as yourself. Luo Fan looked humble. You flatter me, director. The director then looked at Li Lakai, who looked annoyed, and Jiang Mai, who looked bored. Li Lakai, you're an unruly racer, and Mai, you're even more true to yourself. You're a superstar. Li Lakai and Jiang Mai nodded and didn't have any objections. Then, only Xianxia and Ningxi were left. Mai Huayan flipped another page of the script and looked at Ningxi, his face full of praise. Ningxi, I've long heard Director will praise you in front of me. He said you're very dedicated and skilled. It's not easy for a girl to get to where she is today as a martial arts double. Director Gua is exaggerating. It's my job, Ningxi said. Mai Huayan nodded with satisfaction and said, your role is the mysterious agent. There's a very important fight scene. Is that okay? No problem. Ningxi nodded, looking like she wasn't picky. Finally, the director looked at Xianxia. Xianxia, your role is that of a mature, steady, and abstinent president. Many young girls nowadays like this kind of. Xianxia had taken this route after his career transition. After much consideration, Mai Huayan felt that this arrangement was the most suitable. Just as he was about to let them audition, Xianxia's gaze swept towards Ningxi like a knife. He suddenly said, I want Ningxi's role. As soon as he said that, not only the director, but everyone else was stunned as well. Jiang Mai, who was bored to death, suddenly straightened his back. TSK, TSK, TSK. What should come has finally come. The others were a little confused. They had all thought that Xianxia would cause trouble for Li Kai. They hadn't expected him to suddenly target Ningxi. Was it because Ningxi stopped them just now? My Hawaiian suddenly felt a headache coming on. Although Xianxia's reputation had improved in recent years, his personality had worsened. His temperament was unpredictable in private, and he was very irritable. It wasn't the first time he had clashed with the staff. My Hawaiian could only try his best to persuade him tactfully. Xianxia, the role I arranged for you is the most suitable for you. Ningxi's role is almost always about fighting and escaping. If you don't have a professional martial arts foundation, you can easily get hurt. Xianxia didn't know if he had heard it or not. He said quietly, "Since the director doesn't believe me, then let me fight with Ningxi. Whoever wins gets the role." Without waiting for the director to speak, he directly attacked Ningxi. Chapter 1292. The flexibility of Ningxi's body was simply astonishing. Her entire body jerked backwards and dodged Xianxia's attack. Xianxia's attack did not diminish and continued to follow up. Ningxi seemed to not want to be entangled with him and kept on defending. Looking at the two people fighting, everyone at the scene was dumbfounded. Xianxia was deliberately picking a fight, wasn't he? What was going on? Qin Ran touched his chin. Well, did Ningxi get cuckolded by Xianxia like Li Kai? Han Yuqing rolled his eyes. If that's the case, it should be Ningxi picking a fight with Xianxia. Besides, Ningxi is a woman. Qin Ran nodded. I almost forgot. Could it be that Xianxia, the 1,000-year-old demon, had his woman stolen by Ningxi? After all, Ningxi's men's clothes were quite popular with girls. Han Yuqing looked at him as if he was an idiot. Do you think Xianxia will care about his woman being stolen? Qin Ran shook his head. No. Not only did this guy have no moral integrity, but he also didn't expect the woman he was with to have moral integrity. He didn't care who you slept with. Not only Qin Ran, but Li Kai was also suspicious. He hoped that Xianxia would be beaten up, but Ningxi was a woman after all. She was not as strong as a man. It wasn't easy for her to defend herself. My Huai, and didn't expect Xianxia to start fighting without saying a word. He was stunned. Hey, Xianxia, Ningxi, stop. We can discuss the roles. You don't have to do this. However, Xianxia couldn't hear him at all. Seeing Ningxi defending but not fighting, Xianxia was getting angrier and fiercer. If Xianxia was just teasing and provoking Li Kai when he was fighting, then he was really angry now. His expression made it seem like he had a blood feud with Ningxi. It was no wonder that Qin Ran and the others would think otherwise. Ying didn't expect her idol to cause trouble again. She wanted to cry, but had no tears. Ningxi had stopped him just now, but what should she do now? The others were also worried that Ningxi would be hurt by this lunatic. Only Jiangmai was sitting there with his legs crossed, watching the show calmly. The only thing missing was a handful of melon seeds in his hands. Ningxi blocked Xianxia's attack and whispered in his ear, "Once the audition is over, I'll play with you till the end." Xianxia turned a deaf ear, obviously unwilling to wait. If he had waited until the end of the audition, this would not have happened. Bang! While the two of them were fighting, they knocked over some props and made a loud noise. Ningxi's eyebrows twitched. She couldn't take it anymore. She suddenly switched from defense to offense and charged forward. Seeing that Ningxi had finally made her move, the look in Xianxia's eyes suddenly became even crazier. After Ningxi started to attack, the looks of the others changed. Qin Ran's eyes widened. Holy shit. This woman's skills are really good. Han Yuqing and even Luo Fan were a little excited as they watched. Men all like this kind of hot-blooded scene. However, when he remembered that the other party was a woman, he couldn't help but feel a little ashamed of himself. Just when everyone's gazes fell on Ningxi and Xianxia, who were fighting more and more intensely, the sound of footsteps came from behind them one after another. Ying was the first to notice. Her face suddenly turned pale. Boss. Boss Lu. Chapter 1293. Seeing the arrival of the Emperor, Ying was so scared that she almost fell to her knees. Oh no, oh no. Why did President Lu and second young master suddenly come over and see this scene? She was going to be labeled as an incompetent person for sure. Lu Jingli, who had just been despised by his brother, followed her over. But at the thought of watching gossip, he was immediately rejuvenated in 3 seconds. However, he didn't expect to see such an exciting scene as soon as he arrived. Little Cece, you really never let me down. Seeing that the president of Lu Group had come in person, the others subconsciously straightened their backs and greeted him. Xianxia and Ning, she were fighting fiercely and didn't seem to notice the arrival of Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli. Mai Huai, and hurried forward and said with a smile, President Lu, you're here. We're in the middle of an audition. Lu Jingli chuckled. Are you sure they're not fighting? Mai Huai laughed dryly. Second young master, you must be joking. How could that be? They're auditioning for the role of a very skilled agent. Mai Huai, and said as he led them to the sofa and sat down. Ying could only play along with the director and said, Yes, yes, President Lu, second young master. Not far away, Ningxi had already noticed that her sweetheart and a certain nosy uncle had come over. Because she couldn't be distracted, she continued to deal with Xianxia, and her attacks were getting fiercer. My sweetheart is here. I don't have time to play with you now. Everyone found that Ningxi's attacks were getting fiercer and fiercer, so they couldn't help but refocus their attention on these two people. After sitting down, Lu Jingli saw that his brother was so calm when his wife was fighting with someone. He couldn't help but ask, Brother, aren't you going to help? Lu Tingxiao said expressionlessly, Why should I help a stranger? In other words, he was helping that man, not Ningxi. Obviously, he was confident in his wife's fighting ability. Lu Jingli was speechless. Okay, he couldn't refute that. Lu Jingli watched for a while and gradually felt that something was wrong. Hey, brother, why do I feel that the atmosphere between the two of them is not quite right? Lu Jingli touched his chin and then crooked his finger at Jiang Mai, who was in the corner. Mai, come here. Jiang Mai had no choice but to walk over reluctantly. Second uncle, what's the matter? Let me ask you, does Xiao Cece know Xianxia? Do you have any grudges against him? Lu Jingli immediately asked the main point. Jiang Mai glanced at Lu Tingxiao with fear, then coughed lightly and said, Well, I think you'd better ask Ningxi herself. I'm not sure either. Lu Jingli put his arm around Jiang Mai's shoulder. But you look like you know everything. Jiang Mai had a headache. Uncle, don't make things difficult for me. Lu Jingli raised his eyebrows and muttered to himself, Is he really little Cece's ex-boyfriend? Jiang Mai was stunned. How did you know? Damn, it's true. Lu Jingli's eyes suddenly lit up. Brother, I'm so amazing. I guessed it right. As soon as his voice fell, Lu Jingli felt a chill down his spine. The pressure around his brother suddenly became cold. Lu Jingli didn't dare to show off anymore. He looked at Jiang Mai again and asked with great excitement, My good nephew, tell me quickly, what's going on? Chapter 1294. Uncle, I really don't know. You should ask Ningxi herself. Jiang Mai didn't dare to say more, fearing that Ningxi would beat him to death. He could only give a perfunctory reply and run away. Hey, why are you running away? Lu Jingli looked regretful and curious. Amidst his curiosity, he finally remembered his brother. He coughed lightly and comforted him. Ahem, brother, it's all my fault for jinxing me. But it seems like the two of them are enemies. Also, look at sister-in-law's ferocious attitude towards this fellow. This Xianxia is definitely not a threat. Lu Tingxiao said, So what if he is a threat? Lu Jingli quickly pacified him. Yes. There's nothing to be afraid of, even a threat. Brother, your beauty will crush everyone here. As soon as he said that, the man cried out in pain. Ningxi twisted Xianxia's arm and stepped on his back with her knee. Xianxia was pressed against the ground. The battle was finally over. Everyone gasped in amazement, and almost clapped their hands. After a while, Ningxi lifted her foot and let go of Xianxia. If she hadn't been afraid of hurting Xianxia and affecting the filming later, it wouldn't have taken so long. After fighting for so long, she only had a thin layer of sweat on her forehead. Her clothes were neat and tidy. On the other hand, Xianxia was sweating profusely. His clothes were a mess, and there was an eye-catching footprint on his back. Seeing Xianxia being tortured, Li Likai felt so good. The wicked will be punished by the heavens. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Mai Huai and hurriedly tried to smooth things over. Very good, very good. It was wonderful. Both Xianxia and Ningxi were great. It was a feast for our eyes. But in the end, Ningxi won. So, Ningxi should play this role. Mai Huai looked at Xianxia tentatively. Xianxia, you have no objections, right? Xianxia hadn't calmed down from the fierce battle just now. He breathed heavily and didn't say anything. Mai Huai, and heaved a sigh of relief. Ying also seemed to have survived a disaster. Xianxia slowly stood up and stared deeply at Ningxi. His eyes were filled with complicated and conflicted emotions. His gaze didn't seem to be as simple as anger and hatred, but Ningxi's attention was completely on her sweetheart. Then, President Liu, shall we continue with the audition? Mai Huai asked. They didn't expect Chief Liu to come personally. It was obvious how much he valued the advertisement. Liu Tingxiao nodded slightly. Liu Jingli waved his hand and urged, hurry up and start. Let's start. When it was over, he still had to gossip with little Cici. How infuriating. After a short disturbance, the audition finally began. Perhaps it was because Liu Tingxiao and Liu Jingli were inspecting them, but everyone worked hard. In the end, everyone's roles were confirmed. But there was one last person left, and that was Ningxi's heroine. Should I change my clothes? Ningxi asked. Yes. I've already prepared it for you. Mai Huaiyan said. Brother Shi, follow me. Yi Ying led Ningxi into the fitting room. Okay, thank you, Director Yi. Ningxi followed Yi Ying into another room. The rest of the people who had already finished the audition looked a little curious. Except for Jiang Mai, they had seen pictures of Ningxi in cross-dressing, but they had never seen Ningxi in cross-dressing, especially Xianxia. Ever since Ningxi entered the fitting room, he had been very restless. The expression on his face was as if he was waiting for judgment. Chapter 1295. Because there was a meeting about to start, and he didn't want to disturb her work, Liu Tingxiao didn't stay long and left halfway through the audition. Liu Jingli thought that there was no way for him to ask little Cici anything at the moment, so he could only leave first. Brother, didn't you see Cici in women's clothes? Liu Jingli followed behind and asked. Liu Tingxiao glanced at him. I haven't seen her. Liu Jingli nodded like a chick pecking rice. Yes, I have. You've seen what Cici looks like. You can see her in any way you want. She's not like those guys who haven't seen the world. In the fitting room, Ying took out the women's clothes that she had prepared for Ningxi, as well as a whole set of makeup equipment. Brother Shi, do you need me to call the makeup artist? Ying asked. No, I'll do it myself. Ningxi took off her coat as she spoke, and then unbuttoned her collar. Ying's heart skipped a beat. Then I'll go out first. You can change your clothes. Call me if you need anything. Okay. Ningxi nodded and unbuttoned the second button, revealing her fair collarbone and the faint traces of a white cloth binding her chest. Ying hurriedly turned around and went out. When she went out of the door, she stumbled and almost fell. Outside the door, Jiang Mai's mouth twitched when he saw Yi Ying's blushing face. What did this guy do to the girl again? In fact, Ningxi was really wrong this time. She didn't do anything to the girl. She really didn't do anything. While Ningxi was changing her clothes and putting on makeup, the people outside were chatting and waiting. Qin Ran looked at the script. Innocent, pure, and cute, and obedient? This character setting is so different from Ningxi. I'm kidding. Han Yunqing agreed with this point. With Ningxi's cross-dressing image, she was at the level of national seductress. As for men's clothes, they had just experienced it, so there was no need to mention it. Luo Fan was an artiste of Starlight Entertainment. When Ningxi was still in Starlight, he had met her a few times, so he wasn't curious about her cross-dressing. He was chatting with the director. Li Lakai glared at Mo Chunxiu, as if he was still angry. However, he realized that this guy's mind had wandered off somewhere, and he had an anxious and fluctuating expression. After a while, the door of the fitting room was pushed open from the inside. Everyone subconsciously raised their heads and looked in the direction of the fitting room. At the entrance of the fitting room, the girl's face was as pretty as a peach. She had red lips and white teeth, and a pair of limpid eyes. She was dressed in a white, straight-necked dress. Her long hair draped over her shoulders, and she was wearing pink high-heeled sandals. She looked simple and refreshing, like a lotus flower emerging from the water. The girl had a reserved, quiet, and shy expression on her face. She looked abnormally innocent, beautiful, and well-behaved, which made people want to protect her. Fuck. The script in Qin Ran's hand fell to the ground. Jiang Mai laughed. He's lying again. Han Yuqing was dumbfounded. This, Li Lakai rubbed his eyes hard, and even Luo Fan was stunned for a moment. Mo Chunxiu stood up with a swoosh and looked straight at the girl. Fuck me. You really are Ningxi. You're too awesome. How did you do it? Don't tell me you're a different person. Qin Ran walked over slowly and circled Ningxi several times in disbelief. Chapter 1296. Wasn't this too amazing? Where was the person who had changed so much? He wouldn't believe it was the same person no matter what. Because he was too shocked, Qin Ran subconsciously reached out his hand toward Ningxi's chest. However, in the next second, the shy and quiet girl reached out and grabbed Qin Ran's wrist. Qin Ran screamed, "Ah, it hurts. It hurts. Brother, let go. I was wrong. You're Ningxi. You're Ningxi." She let go of Qin Ran's hand. "Where are you touching?" Qin Ran crouched timidly. "I was too surprised. I was wrong. I won't do it again, brother." After Qin Ran paid a heavy price, everyone saw She grabbed Qin Ran's wrist in a lady's dress with an unruly expression on her face. They finally believed that the girl in front of them and the man just now were really the same person. Compared to the others surrounding Ningxi, Jiang Mai's attention was on Mo Chunxiu. Mo Chunxiu's expression changed when he saw Ningxi come out. When he saw the scene between Ningxi and Qin Ran, his eyes seemed to burn even more intensely. No one knew what he was thinking. She still had to go through a short scene with 6 people. It would probably be very late by the time she was done. So she texted Lu Tingxiao to tell him to go back first. She would go straight to Platinum Palace after this. The scenes with the first few went smoothly. Finally, it was Mo Chunxiu's turn. Mai Huayan clicked on a small scene. Let's do this encounter in the rain. The female lead met the company CEO on a rainy day. The CEO took off his jacket to cover the two of them as they ran in the rain. Seeing that Mo Chunxiu didn't seem to be in a good state, Mai Huayan was a little worried. "Chunxiu, is this scene okay?" Sigh. Mo Chunxiu was too much of a prick. Hopefully, he wouldn't cause any trouble again. Mo Chunxiu looked impatient. "Whatever. Okay, let's begin," Mai Huayan said. The scene began. She used her fingers to block the rain. CEO Mo, why are you here?" Mo Chunxiu did not say anything. He took off his suit jacket and covered the girl's head with it. "Let's go." "Oh." She nodded nervously. Then, she burrowed into the man's suit jacket and ran towards a place not far away to hide from the rain. Crack. Not bad. Mai Huayan finally heaved a sigh of relief after he finished. "Chunxiu, didn't you act pretty well?" "Let me tell you." Before she finished speaking, Mo Chunxiu suddenly grabbed Ningxi's hand and strode outside. When everyone realized it, Ningxi had already been dragged out of sight by Mo Chunxiu. Mai Huayan was dumbfounded. Jiang Mai was the first to stand up and chase after them. Ying was worried that Mo Chunxiu would cause trouble, so she hurriedly chased after him. "Chunxiu, where are you going?" Qin Ran raised his eyebrows. "Oh, what's going on?" Was this the rhythm of continuing after work? How can he beat Ningxi when she's dressed as a girl? Han Yunxing narrowed his eyes and said, "There must be something going on between the two of them." Qin Ren immediately said, "Isn't that obvious? And it's definitely not any less than the feud with Li Lakai. TSK, this is getting more and more interesting." Chapter 1297. Jiang Mai and Ying chased after them, but they were too late. Ning Shi and Mo Chenxiu were nowhere to be seen. "Damn it," Jiang Mai cursed. Ying looked anxious and worried. "What should we do? We have to find them quickly. Will Ningxi be okay?" Jiang Mai took a look at her and sighed. "I'm also worried that Ningxi might accidentally cripple him at the same time on the deserted top floor." Mo Chenxiu blocked the only exit, stared at the woman in front of him, and spat out 2 words through gritted teeth. Tang Shi. Ningxi had used Tang Shi's fake identity to mess with Mo Chenxiu, so he had thought she was a man all these years, until she starred in A Dream Seeker. Mo Chenxiu was dumbfounded when he saw the man in the movie. What made him even more confused was that the man was a woman disguised as a man. Ningxi, Tang Shi, were they the same person? Mo Chenxiu had been struggling ever since he found out about it, but he didn't dare to confirm it until this time. Before coming here, he had hesitated several times, which was why he was late for so long. But the moment he saw her, he knew that the person in front of him was Tang Shi. It was Tang Shi. It took all his self-control not to pounce on her, but he couldn't calm his anger, so he deliberately made trouble for Li Lakai. Chenxiu approached step by step, his face extremely gloomy. "It's been 3 years. I've been looking for you." Ningxi crossed her arms and raised her eyebrows. "Huh? Why are you looking for me? Since then, I've never been hard on women. Why do you think I'm looking for you?" Mo Chenxiu looked like he wanted to strangle her. Ningxi was stunned. What the fuck? Did Mo Chenxiu get a dick? She was a little surprised. She thought she would just mess with him and leave him with a psychological scar. She didn't expect it to be so effective. She was really awesome. It turned out that Mo Chenxiu's image of abstinence all these years wasn't fake. He really wasn't interested in women. Ningxi pondered for a moment and said, "So, are you looking for me to be gay? Shut up." Mo Chenxiu was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Right now, he couldn't hear the word gay, not even if it sounded the same. The blue veins on Mo Chenxiu's forehead bulged. "Tang Shi, listen to me. There's only one way for you, and that's to date me." After saying this, Mo Chenxiu's face seemed to flash with a trace of uneasiness. He added, "Ha, at least you're a woman, aren't you?" God knows how he felt when he found out that he had feelings for Ning Shi in women's clothes. He had thought that he would really bid farewell to women for the rest of his life and would never be able to get better, of course. He would never admit it. Ningxi shrugged and said apologetically, "I'm really sorry, but I already have a boyfriend." Mo Chenxiu was momentarily stunned. Then he put on a nonchalant expression and said, "It doesn't matter. I don't care." Damn it. While he was struggling in pain every day, she actually happily got a boyfriend without any burden. She rolled her eyes at him. "You don't care, but I care, okay? Do you think everyone is as shameless as you?" Chapter 1298. Mo Chenxiu narrowed his eyes. "So you're saying no?" She said, "Of course." Mo Chenxiu sneered. "As far as I know, you're not supposed to be in a relationship right now, right? Aren't you afraid that I'll expose you?" She chuckled. "Do you think you're the only one who knows how to do it? I think the news of Mo Chenxiu being impotent is more shocking, right?" Mo Chenxiu said. Mo Chenxiu gritted his teeth and took a step closer. "Do you want me to prove to you that I'm impotent?" Actually, he really couldn't wait to try it out. Although she had made him feel something in women's clothes, he wasn't sure yet. She narrowed her eyes dangerously and mimicked his tone. "Do you want me to prove to you that whether you're impotent or not, I can make you impotent now?" Mo Chenxiu subconsciously took 3 steps back and looked at her warily. This damned woman. How could a girl be so good at martial arts so much so that he had never doubted her gender? "Move." I'm going home to accompany my wife. Ningxi pushed aside Xianxia, who was blocking his way, and swaggered away. Xianxia's face darkened. Tangxi, just you wait. Damn it. She really had a boyfriend? Who could it be? Could it be? Could it be Jiangmai? The more Xianxia thought about it, the more likely it seemed. Ningxi saw Jiangmai leaning on the sidewalk as soon as she came out. Seeing that she had come down, Jiangmai looked behind her and asked, "No one died, right?" Ningxi squinted at him. "Have you ever seen anyone die when I beat you?" Jiangmai frowned. "Can you not use me as an analogy?" "Thank you." She waved her hand. "Let's go home." "Oh yes, you haven't told me what Xianxia said to you." Jiangmai asked curiously. She said casually, something along the lines of "I'll wait and see." Jiangmai looked at her worriedly. "What if that guy really makes trouble for you? It's very sensitive in the entertainment industry when it comes to personal matters." "Don't worry. I have something on him." She said. Seeing that she was so confident, Jiangmai didn't ask further. He just felt that Xianxia's attitude towards she wasn't that simple at the Platinum Gold Palace. For the first time in history, the one who looked forward to she's return the most wasn't Little Bao, but Lu Jingli. Ever since he got home, he had been running around in circles. Hey, why aren't they back yet? Why aren't they back yet? Why wasn't Cece back yet? When I called to ask, they clearly said that it was already over. What was he doing? I called her, but she didn't pick up. He didn't even reply to my messages. Xiaobao, why don't you give your mom a call? Xiaobao, who was sitting on the sofa reading a book, looked up with a straight face. Second uncle, you're very noisy. Lu Jingli, who was fierce to Little Bao, immediately cried out, Little Bao, you're so fierce. He was exactly the same as his father. Just as he finished speaking, the sound of the door opening came from the door, followed by the sound of familiar footsteps. On the sofa, Xiao Baozi threw away the book in his hands and flew towards the door like a little bird. Mommy! Hey! Baby mom, welcome home. Xiao Bao missed you so much. Chapter 1299. Mom, are you tired? The little guy asked about Ningxi's well-being while handing slippers to her. He was a super sweet boy. I'm not tired at all when I see baby. She picked up the little guy and felt that he was a little fatter in her arms. She was very happy. The little guy's body had completely recovered to the standard of his peers. Not only that, because he had been practicing martial arts with Tang Lang, his physical fitness was getting better and better. In the past, he often had headaches and fevers, but now he almost never got sick. Mom, the teacher gave you homework. You need to do it with Mom. The little bun said in a childish voice. Really? What homework? Mom will help you. Ningxi asked. Little Bao took something out of his little school bag, opened his palm, and put it in front of Ningxi. It was a small cardboard with a dozen black dots on it. Ningxi said, Oh, the teacher asked you to raise silkworms. This should be a silkworm. Little Bao looked at his mom with sparkling eyes. Mom is so smart. You knew it so quickly. Second uncle doesn't even know what it is. Ha, because Mom used to raise silkworms too. She was overjoyed. You're back. At this time, Lu Tingxiao came down from upstairs. Yes, have you bought the ingredients? Let me cook tonight. She said. Let the kitchen cook. You've been busy all day. She said carelessly. It's okay. Cooking is also a way to relax. I'll go with Little Bao to find a box to raise silkworms. I'll come back later. Lu Tingxiao said, okay. Seeing she run away with Little Bao, Lu Jingli was heartbroken. Can't you talk to me first? Then no one talked to him. Lu Jingli moved closer to his brother. Brother, aren't you curious at all? He acted as if nothing had happened. Lu Tingxiao said calmly, if she wants to tell me, she will. Lu Jingli grumbled. He hated this calm look the most. Fortunately, Lu Jingli soon found a new target to pester. Not long after she went upstairs, Jiangmai came to visit and get a free meal. If he knew how he would be tortured by Lu Jingli later, he probably wouldn't have come. Unfortunately, it was too late for him to enter the thieves' lair. On the sofa, Lu Jingli grabbed Jiangmai's shoulder and refused to let him go. TSK, my good nephew, I won't ask you about your relationship with Cece if you don't want to tell me. But you don't have to hide other people's relationship, do you? Xianxia said, if I tell her, Ning Xiaoxi will beat me later. Uncle, will you stop her for me? Lu Jingli immediately said, of course not. Are you kidding? Xianxia, when Ningxi came down holding Xiaobao's hand, she saw such a scene. As soon as Xianxia saw Ningxi, he said angrily, I didn't say anything. Ningxi didn't have to think to know what had happened. She glared at Lu Jingli and said, okay, stop messing around. Go and wash the vegetables. It's not time for the story at midnight yet. Lu Jingli's eyes immediately lit up when he heard this. It seemed that little Cece was ready to tell a story. Fuck, you should have said so earlier. Ningxi subconsciously looked in Lu Tingxiao's direction, her eyes a little complicated. All this time, Lu Tingxiao had given her the greatest tolerance and trust. Her rumored, messy, private life abroad, her psychological problems, she might never tell anyone about it. But because of him, she had the courage to speak up. Chapter 1300. After dinner and coaxing Xiaobao to sleep, Ningxi went downstairs. It was rare that it was so quiet downstairs. But Lu Jingli's eyes betrayed his gossipy nature. Ahem, Cece, you don't have to tell me if it's about privacy. I'm just concerned about you. Xianxia seems to have a grudge against you. If anything happens, I can support you as your boss. Ningxi rolled her eyes at him. He had put it so nicely. If she really told him to wash up and go to bed, he would cry. Do you have wine? Open a bottle. Ningxi looked at Lu Jingli. Yes, yes, yes. Lu Jingli nodded. Wait. Ningxi suddenly called out and walked up to Lu Tingxiao. Boss, can I drink a little tonight? Just a little, and I'll stay here tonight. I don't have to drive back. Lu Tingxiao ruffled the girl's soft hair and looked at her deeply. You don't have to say anything. Ningxi's heart warmed. She gazed into the man's eyes. But I want to tell you, there are a lot of things that I can't do and I can't tell you. I can't predict how far I can go. But I've been working hard. I've been working hard to get rid of the thorns in my body so that I can get closer to you, closer. Lu Tingxiao was moved. He reached out and took the girl into his arms. It's okay. You don't have to. It doesn't matter even if it hurts me. Not far away. Lu Jingli, Jiangmai, Lu Jingli. Have they forgotten that we exist? Jiangmai. Do we still exist? In the end, Lu Jingli, who had been abused again, went home and brought a bottle of good wine. Lu Jingli finally had some self-awareness. He probably realized that he was too bright a third wheel. Actually, if it's not convenient, the two of us should just leave. Ningxi said, no, Jiangmai knows everything about me. You're Lu Tingxiao's brother, not an outsider. The most important thing was that if she didn't tell him today, she wouldn't be able to live in peace in the future. Hearing this, Lu Jingli was stunned. What the fuck? Good, Jiangmai. You really know everything. Ningxi poured herself a glass of wine, took a sip, and looked at Lu Tingxiao, saying, then I'll make a long story short. Xianxia did have a grudge against me because I turned him gay 3 years ago. Now he seems to be traumatized by that, so he's picking on me. Lu Jingli spat out a mouthful of wine. Brother Shi, can you calm down a little? Don't be so explosive at the beginning. Even if he had guessed thousands of possibilities, it was impossible for him to have guessed that things would turn out like this. Sure enough, Cece was his natural nemesis. Lu Jingli took a deep breath. Can I ask why all of your predecessors were so miserable? Because they're scum. Ning, she said matter-of-factly. They're scum, yet you're still dating them? Lu Jingli said, but he seemed to suddenly understand something. When he first inquired about Ningxi, he didn't know everything about her. He only knew that many of her exes ended up miserable, including Jiangmai, who was so arrogant that he was dumped for the first time. He thought it was just a coincidence, but now he felt that something was wrong. Chapter 1301. Before Ning, she could speak, Jiangmai supported his head with his hand and curled his lips. She's delusional. She thinks of herself as a beautiful girl warrior who does justice for heaven and replaces the moon to destroy scumbags. She's responsible for the happiness of thousands of girls. Ningxi nodded. Jiang Mai's summary was very appropriate. Huh? What the hell? Lu Jingli was confused. Obviously, he hadn't figured it out yet. How did Cici's love history turn into a war history? Ningxi sat next to Lu Tingxiao and put her chin on his shoulder. She sighed and said, "Well, actually, it's because whenever I see those scumbags who bully girls, I can't control myself. I became like that after I broke up with Su Yin 5 years ago. The psychiatrist said I have severe obsessive-compulsive disorder, and I can't change it. Of course, I didn't want to change it at all." Lu Tingxiao touched the girl's head. There was no confusion in his eyes, only heartache and comfort. Ningxi blinked and couldn't help but ask, "Sweetheart, I had such a bad reputation and you didn't know me well. Why did you still like me?" I thought about it. I didn't have anything except for my face. I was so poor in all aspects. The person I like doesn't need to have anything or have a good background. I just need to like him, Lu Tingxiao said domineeringly. She immediately pounced on him. "Honey, you're so handsome." "Ahem, be serious. We're talking about something serious." Lu Jingli pulled a long face and then asked incredulously, "So, Cici, did all your ex-boyfriends come to be like this? Did you stay with them to bully scumbags? Jiang Mai too?" "Jiang Mai, can you stop mentioning me? Is he her biological uncle or not?" "Well, he really wasn't her biological uncle." Ningxi nodded and said, "Except for Su Yin and that person, they all came to be like this." Lu Tingxiao's eyes changed slightly. He instantly understood that the name Ning she didn't say was Yunshen. "Damn, Jiang Mai, no wonder you refused to tell the truth, even though I made you drink so much. It turns out that Cici didn't like you at all. She just wanted to bully you." Lu Jingli suddenly understood. Hearing this, Jiang Mai's face darkened. Did he have to be so straightforward? On the other hand, a certain great demon king felt unprecedentedly comfortable. His wife was really too cute. "Since we've already reached this point, can you at least tell us what's going on between the two of you?" Lu Jingli put his hand on Jiang Mai's shoulder and said in a caring tone, "Come on, young man, tell me your story." Jiang Mai didn't know what to do. Since they all knew it, and he had been holding it in for too long, he started to talk. "You all know what I was like in those days. At that time, I made a bet with a bunch of scoundrels that I would be able to wound Ningxi within a day. The bet was a car. And then? Lu Jingli eagerly served Jiang Mai a glass of wine. Lu Tingxiao was in a good mood, so he looked at Jiang Mai with interest. Following Ningxi's words, most of his rivals in love had turned into ashes and turned into nothingness. He was in a bad mood. Chapter 1302. Then, Jiang Mai gulped down a whole glass of wine and glared at Ningxi with hatred as deep as Xianxia's. "Well, I did catch up with her in one day, but..." Lu Jingli's forehead twitched. "Can you speak without panting? On the 7th day, I took her to meet my friends and then showed them the winnings of the bet. In the end, she got the car." "What do you mean?" Lu Jingli asked in confusion. "Why did Cici get the car? Did you give it to her? She's so capable. Why does she need me to give it to her? She colluded with my friends long ago and made a bet with them. She's the biggest liar." Jiang Mai said. Each and every word he said was dripping with blood. Jiang Mai had already fallen in love with Ningxi. On the way to meet his friends with Ningxi, he experienced the biggest dilemma of his life. When they arrived there, he was ready to give up the bet and continue to be with Ningxi. However, Ningxi suddenly cheered and clinked glasses with their friends, and then he was told that he had been fooled. She didn't like him at all. She made a bet with them that she could get the car if she caught up with him and dumped him. He, Jiang Mai, had been in the underworld for more than 20 years, but he had been completely humiliated by Ningxi. After listening to Jiang Mai's story, Lu Jingli patted the poor boy's shoulder sympathetically. "Well, just take it as retribution." Jiang Mai was speechless. How could he comfort him like this? After all, compared with the one who was turned gay, you're already very lucky. Lu Jingli said again. Jiang Mai snorted. Well, he had to admit it. How bad is Xianxia? Cici, How could you be so cruel and inhumane? You made him fucked. Lu Jingli sighed. Ningxi shrugged. You must be a scumbag to deserve such a high treatment from me. Think about it yourself. At that time, I saw a girl jump into the river and almost die. She told me about her relationship with Xianxia, so I couldn't help helping her. In fact, I was thinking about going back to China at that time and was ready to retire. Alas, it's a pity that this scumbag made my hands itch and I couldn't help it. Lu Jingli said, Give up my career. This description. Well, little Cece, how are you now? Lu Jingli was concerned about Ningxi's psychological condition. Ningxi took Lu Tingxiao's arm and looked confused. Me now? Of course. All your attention is on your brother. Where would you have the spare time to care about others? If you have the time, you might as well go on a date and accompany Xiaobao. Lu Jingli stood up and patted his butt. I've had my fill of gossip and dog food. Time to go home. Good night, my dear brother and sister-in-law. Lu Jingli left, and so did Jiang Mai. Outside the house, Lu Jingli had a satisfied expression on his face. He didn't understand little Cece's character in the past, but after spending some time with her, he had long noticed that there was something wrong with little Cece's past. Today, he had finally solved the misunderstanding. In particular, when his brother first started to pursue Cece, there was one time when he followed her to the bar because he was worried about Cece and saw the process of her abusing the scumbags with his own eyes. At that time, he already had some suspicions. Lu Jingli hummed a song as he walked home, hiding his achievements and fame. God, he had accumulated so much virtue. Later on, he would definitely point out a fairy sister like the one in his dreams. Chapter 1303. Ever since Grandpa made his will, the Ning family had tried all kinds of ways to get the 10% shares in her hands, because she had what they wanted. In the short term, they could only play the soft approach, play the family card, or try to buy her over with a high price. If she didn't give in after a while, they would definitely do something desperate. Ningxi thought that it was time to take some time to deal with this matter. After the shooting of the TV commercial, she was about to contact Ning Xiaotong. Unexpectedly, before she could act, Ning Xiaotong took the initiative to call her. Cece, are you free now? Ning Xiaotong's gentle voice came from the other end of the phone. Aunt, what a coincidence. I was just about to call you. I want to discuss something with you. Ningxi said. Then come to the banquet hall of the Royal Duke Hotel. Ning Xiaotong directly requested. Ningxi thought Ning Xiaotong was too busy, so she agreed. Okay. A moment later, she drove to the banquet hall of the Royal Duke Hotel. The waiter at the door saw she wearing sunglasses and a mask, and asked politely, Miss, do you have an invitation? I'm looking for someone, Ms. Ning Xiaotong. She said. The waiter immediately said warmly, Miss, please come with me. Ms. Ning is waiting for you. The waiter took her to the door of a presidential suite and then left. She pressed the doorbell. Soon the door was opened and Ning Xiaotong, who was wearing a light golden dress, was standing at the door. Seeing she immediately greeted her. Cece, come in. Come on, put on your clothes. I'll help you with your hair later. Ning Xiaotong excitedly took her hand and showed her a gorgeous dress and a set of accessories on the bed. Aunt, this is... Ningxi was puzzled. Ning Xiaotong took Ningxi's hand and said, Today's banquet is attended by celebrities in the circle. Ordinary people don't have a chance to attend. I'll take you to meet them later. It'll be good for you. Ningxi coughed. Aunt, I don't think so. Ning Xiaotong said unhappily. Why are you so stubborn? If you don't fight for it, it will fall into the hands of others. These are all things that belong to you. It's fine if I couldn't handle it when I was overseas, but now that I'm back, I can't ignore this matter. Ningxi knew that Ning Xiaotong was truly doing this for her own good. She felt a surge of warmth in her heart. Auntie, don't worry. It won't fall into the hands of outsiders. No matter what, you must attend this banquet today. I have already shown off to many people that I will bring my beautiful and capable niece here today. Ning Xiaotong's attitude was very firm, and she even looked as if she would lose face if she did not go. Since Ning Xiaodong had said so, Ning she couldn't refuse. Thank you, Aunt. That's more like it. Hurry up and try it on. If it doesn't fit, I'll get someone to change it. Ning Xiaotong happily handed the clothes to her. She and her husband had been so busy with their careers that they hadn't had any children yet. Usually, they didn't have a chance to choose clothes for their children. In addition, Ning she was not arrogant or rash. She admired her perseverance to work hard on her own, so she wanted to help her. Chapter 1304. After a while, Ning she changed her clothes and came out. She was wearing a fairy-like ice blue embroidered lace evening gown, tassel earrings of the same color, and a pair of silver high heels with flowers spreading from the slender high heels, which became the finishing touch of this outfit. Anyone with a discerning eye would be able to tell that all of Ning Shi's clothes were priceless, limited edition treasures. The dress was custom-made by E.S. The high-heeled shoes were from Ralph's Garden of Eden series, and the earrings were designed by Fong, a top domestic jewelry designer. As soon as Ning Shi came out, Ning Xiaodong's eyes lit up. Beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you, Aunt. You have a good taste. Ning Shi smiled. You're such a sweet talker. How'd you end up in such a mess with your family? Ning Xiaotong sighed. I only talk sweetly to the person I like. Ning Xiaotong smiled. Come here. Let me help you with your hair. Okay. Ning Shi sat in front of the dresser. Behind her, Ning Xiaodong picked up a comb and gently smoothed her hair. Wait, let me think about what hairstyle I should make for you. But you have a good foundation and you look good in every way. I don't have much room to show off. Ning Shi looked at Ning Xiaodong's loving expression in the mirror. Ning Xiaotong's warm fingers gently touched her hair, and she had an indescribable feeling. Noticing Ning Shi's strange look and reddened eyes, Ning Xiaotong immediately asked nervously, Cici, what's wrong? Ning Shi hurriedly shook her head. It's okay, Aunt. I slept late last night, and my eyes hurt. At the same time, in the banquet hall, everyone was chatting, drinking, bonding, talking about business, and matchmaking. The atmosphere was very lively. Zhuang Lingyu was proudly socializing with Ning Xiaoluo everywhere. No matter where they went, everyone was full of compliments. Mrs. Ning, when will your daughter's wedding banquet be held? Alas, it's a pity that my unlucky son is late. Mrs. Ning is so lucky. Her husband is so gentle and considerate. Her daughter is so good, and she has a good son-in-law. Zhuang Lingyu looks at her noble daughter who is dressed in a white dress and pats the back of her hand. My greatest achievement in this lifetime is to have such an obedient daughter like Shui Luo. Ning Shuo narrowed her eyes in embarrassment. It's my blessing to be able to be my mother's daughter. Seeing that the relationship between the mother and daughter was so good, the people around them were full of envy. It was no wonder that they were envious. For families like theirs, most of their children were rebellious and willful. How could they be so obedient? Lingyu, I heard that your sister-in-law, who has been abroad all year round, has returned? At this time, a noblewoman beside Zhuang Lingyu asked. Yes, I did. Zhuang Lingyu didn't look happy when she mentioned her sister-in-law. Oh, it just so happens that my husband has a project that he's looking for someone to cooperate with. Lingyu, can you introduce me to him? The lady took the opportunity to ask. Zhuang Lingyu frowned and was about to speak when the banquet hall, which was originally filled with lively chatter, suddenly became silent. Everyone stared blankly at the entrance of the banquet hall. They saw a noble woman wearing a light golden gown and a girl with a stunning temperament following her. The two of them slowly walked in. Chapter 1305. Since Ning Xiaotong returned to the country, many people in the circle had been paying attention to this matter and wanted to curry favor with her. At this moment, many people naturally recognized her, but the girl beside her with a noble temperament and unbelievably beautiful. What was going on? They had never seen such a socialite in the circle. Was she Ning Xiaodong's daughter? That was even more impossible. Ning Xiaodong had no children. Occasionally, A few people recognized Ning Shi, and they all looked incredulous. She was dressed like this, and she was attending the banquet with Ning Qiutong. Is the person who just came in Ning Yaohua's sister, Ning Qiutong? It's her, but I don't know who the girl beside her is. They seem to be very close. Ning Qiutong has no children. She can't be her daughter-in-law. Is she a friend's daughter? It doesn't make sense. Everyone was guessing the identity of the girl beside Ning Qiutong. When Zhuang Lingyu saw the girl Ning Qiutong brought here, her face darkened. She walked to Ning Yaohua angrily and said in a low voice, Ning Yaohua, what's wrong with your sister? Why did you bring Ning Shi here? Ning Xiueluo's heart was in her throat. Damn it, Ning Qiutong. Ning Qiutong. What a meddlesome old woman. Ning Yaohua said awkwardly. How would I know? She didn't tell me anything, but she just brought Ning Shi here to attend the banquet. Don't be too sensitive. I talked to her once and told her not to interfere in our family affairs. I don't think she will do anything. Oh, President Ning, I finally see you. I've asked you several times before, but you were not available. It's not easy to see you. No matter who the girl beside Ning Qiutong was, someone had already seized the opportunity to make friends with her. The banquet was undoubtedly the best place to talk about business and cooperation. I've just returned to the country, and I have too many things to deal with. I'm really busy. President Xiong, please forgive me. Ning Qiutong said calmly. You flatter me. Beautiful President Ning, I'm willing to wait for another month. Director Xiong said enthusiastically before turning to the quiet and graceful girl beside Ning Qiutong. Director Ning, may I know who this little beauty beside you is? Ning Qiutong looked at Ning Shi lovingly and proudly and replied, President Xiong, let me introduce you to my niece, Ning Shi. President Xiong was taken aback. Niece? As Chairman Xiong spoke, he subconsciously glanced in the direction of Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Xiueluo. He thought to himself, isn't Ning Qiutong's niece Ning Xiueluo? The other niece was Ning Yaobang's daughter, Ning Tianxin. She was also here today, but she didn't look like this. Where did this niece named Ning Shi come from? He did know that Ning Yaobang had 2 illegitimate daughters, but they were not popular at all. How could they have this kind of temperament? Besides, with Ning Qiutong's status, it was impossible for her to favor 2 illegitimate daughters. The more Chairman Xiong thought about it, the more curious he became. But he didn't dare to ask further. Oh, she's President Ning's niece. I was wondering why she has such a good temperament. It's indeed a family inheritance. Good genes. She's very much like President Ning when you were young. Chapter 1306. Director Xiong's words were actually a bit of test. However, Ning Qiutong didn't deny it at all. I agree with you, President Xiong. She takes after me. Standing a few steps away, Zhuang Lingyu was so angry that her face darkened when she heard Ning Qiutong's words getting more and more outrageous and the topic getting more and more dangerous. If she went on like this, she might expose all kinds of scandals. Zhuang Lingyu immediately strode up to her. Qiutong, you're here too. Ning Qiutong took a look at her and said coldly, Why? Can't I come? Zhuang Lingyu suppressed her anger and didn't argue with her. Instead, she looked sharply at Ning Shi. You little girl, why didn't you greet me? Don't you know how to call me adopted mother? Before Ning Shi could speak, Ning Qiutong snorted and said, I think you'd better let someone else call you adopted mother. Ning Qiutong didn't give Zhuang Lingyu any face. Like a mother hen protecting her chicks, she stood firmly in front of Ning Shi. She brought Ning Shi here, so she wouldn't let her suffer any grievances. Hearing Zhuang Lingyu's words, President Xiong was suddenly enlightened. He was wondering where this girl came from. It turned out that she was the rumored adopted daughter of the Ning family. Wasn't she said to be a lowly girl? But it seemed that it wasn't the case at all. She was much more superior than the eldest daughter of the Ning family. If so, Ning Qiutong's attitude was very suspicious. Why was she so nice to an adopted daughter? And what she said to Zhuang Lingyu just now was a bit strange, forget it. Every family had its own problems. He didn't want to get involved in this mess. After chatting for a while, he left, After President Xiong left, Zhuang Lingyu immediately said, "Ning Qiutong, don't wash your dirty linen in public. What good will it do you to make such a scene? Do you want the Ning family to be dragged into this mess because of this girl? The old man's health isn't good. If something bad happens to him because of his anger, you'd better think it through." Ning Qiutong narrowed her eyes. "Cousin-in-law, I don't know if my cousin has told you that I hate it when people threaten me." Now the interest groups of the Ning family had been fixed, and the change of the heir would change the whole company. Before everything was ready, she would not act rashly. At least, she had to ensure that Ningxi would not be hurt in this storm. However, this did not mean that she would be threatened by this woman. After being threatened, Zhuang Lingyu's face darkened. However, judging from Ning Qiutong's attitude, Zhuang Lingyu could tell that Ning Qiutong still had some scruples. She didn't want to provoke Ning Qiutong, so she left angrily. It seemed like he had to find a time to settle the issue of the shares, lest something unexpected happened. "How did you live all these years?" Ning Qiutong looked at Ning Shi and frowned. Ning Shi smiled. "Not bad. Except for the year when I returned to the Ning family, everything else was fine." Hearing this, Ning Qiutong felt even more uncomfortable. She took a deep breath, took Ning Shi to walk among the celebrities, and introduced her to those who were worth making friends with. Even though Ning Shi was now an adopted daughter, no one dared to disrespect Ning Shi, who was under Ning Qiutong's protection. That was the truth. Although everyone felt it was strange that Ning Qiutong was treating this adopted daughter of the Ning family so well, they still gave her face. Moreover, this girl had a good temperament and appearance. She was as famous as Ning Shualuo. Naturally, they were happy to give Ning Qiutong face. Ning Shuo watched her father's younger sister, her aunt, helping Ning Shi wholeheartedly, and her face turned pale with anger. Chapter 1307. That damned old woman. Her father and mother both acknowledged her as the eldest daughter of the Ning family. She had tried her best to please her according to her father's wishes, but that woman never gave her any face. What was worse, she even brought Ning Shi to such an occasion. She was clearly trying to embarrass her. "What's going on, Xiueluo? Why is your aunt so close to that country bumpkin?" Ying Fong Lin asked with a frown. Ning Xiueluo smiled bitterly. I don't know why, but my aunt doesn't seem to like me. She's closer to Ning Shi." Jin Xianxia said, "You're too naive. You can't beat that woman. Your aunt's company isn't small, and your uncle Guo Wenbao is doing well abroad. How could Ning Shi not try to suck up to her?" Ying Fong Lin curled her lips in disdain. "Strong woman? What zhuge? I think Ning Qiutong is out of her mind. She's so nice to an adopted country bumpkin. Isn't she afraid that others will laugh at her? I told you that country bumpkin is very capable. She's only been in Xianxia Entertainment for less than a year, but she managed to bring down Su Yimo and uproot her. The entire Xianxia Entertainment is her world now." Jin Xianxian said exaggeratedly. Hearing this, Ning Xiueluo's face darkened. In Starlight Entertainment, although she was the #1 actress, there were still many heavyweight bigwigs pressuring her. Some of the top international resources and opportunities to star in Hollywood movies were out of her reach at the moment. But Xianxia Entertainment, where Ning Shi worked, was different. Xianxia Entertainment was famous for having a lot of newcomers, but it lacked big shots. After Su Yimo was gone, she was poached by Lu Jingli and managed by Lin Jiji, a top agent. She was also recognized by Lu Tingxiao at the anniversary celebration. With the World and Dream Seeker as her foundation, she was the most popular newcomer. Now that Su Yimo was gone, Xianxia Entertainment would treat her as the most popular actress and give her all the resources first. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that Xianxia Entertainment was her world now. Luckily, Ningxi still had a long way to go before she could enter the international stage. But she couldn't let her continue to develop like this. After Ning Qiutong introduced Ning Shi to a circle of people, she stopped in satisfaction. The two of them called Ning Tianxin to join them and chatted while eating. However, Ning Tianxin looked absent-minded from the beginning to the end. She would check her phone every once in a while. Is Tianxin in love? Ning Qiutong teased. Ning Tianxin blushed. Of course not. Auntie, don't tease me. Ning, she blinked. Well, you've been looking at your phone. Are you waiting for the man you've been in love with for many years? Ning Tianxin was stunned for a second. Then her cheeks turned even redder. It seemed that Ning she had guessed correctly. Ning she snorted and said, I knew it was that guy. Her cousin was extremely stubborn. No matter how good others were, she wouldn't even look at them. She was only devoted to that man. That man's every move could make her lose her mind. Even if he gave her a leaf, she would treat it as a treasure for many years. Ning she was really impressed. Every time she saw her, she saw herself in the past. Chapter 1308. Did you make any progress recently? Ning she got closer to gossip. A little bit. In fact, I don't know if it is a little bit. Ning Tianxin looked distressed, like a little woman in love. Ning Qiutong looked at the two girls with a smile, sighing that it was good to be young. I have something to do. You two talk first. Okay, see you, Aunt. Aunt, go do your thing. How much is a little bit? Be more specific. Let me analyze it for you. Ning she really couldn't bear to see her struggling and holding back her words. Ning Tianxin hesitated for a moment. After making sure there was no one around, she said in a weak voice, We had sex. Holy shit. What? Ning, she almost exclaimed. She looked at her cousin, who was usually obedient and conservative, in astonishment. Sister Tianxin, you call this a little? You really amazed the world with a single brilliant feat. Ning Tianxin blushed. What I mean is, although we had sex, but our relationship didn't change much. Hearing this, Ning she realized something was wrong. Damn it, that guy ran away after sex. He was drunk at that time. He apologized to me after that. Ning Tianxin's expression looked a bit bitter. Ning she was so angry that her chest hurt. He not only ran away after sex, but also had a drunken one-night stand. Sister Tianxin, how can you be so naive? If a man is really drunk, how can he still have the ability to do that? Ning she was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She really wanted to know who that guy was. She must kill that guy and cut him into pieces. Unfortunately, she had asked Ning Tianxin before, but she was very tight-lipped and wouldn't tell her. Seeing Ning Tianxin's helpless look, Ning she suppressed the anger in her heart and asked with a frown, Let me ask you, when you were with him that night, did you take any safety precautions? Ning Tianxin looked a little embarrassed. No, we were in my place and I didn't have that kind of thing. I knew it. Ning she cut that man into pieces in her heart again. She hurriedly asked, Did you take any contraceptive pills afterwards? Ning Tianxin's face turned pale. I was too confused at that time. To be honest, I'm still confused now. I didn't even think about it. Ning she's gaze subconsciously fell on Ning Tianxin's stomach, her forehead aching. It was fine if Ning Tianxin didn't know anything, but did that man not know anything? Since you don't want to take responsibility, you don't even know to remind me? She never thought that someone close to her would meet such a scumbag. Reminded by Ning Tianxin couldn't sit still anymore. Xianxia, I have to leave for a while. No, she had to go to the pharmacy to buy a pregnancy test. Ning she was worried that Ning Tianxin would be alone, so she hurried to catch up with her. When she reached the door, she bumped into someone. She was so scared that she turned around and ran away. Fuck, cloud depths. Impossible. This is impossible. Hiding in the crowd in the banquet hall, Ning she cautiously glanced at the door through the gaps in the crowd. However, she didn't need to look. The reaction of the people around her had answered her question. She didn't know if Cloud Depths was crazy. He showed up in such a public place and didn't hide his face at all. His arrogant white hair was unmistakable. Babes, a new month has begun. I'm begging for a monthly ticket. Flip to the last page and you can vote directly. Chapter 1309. His arrogant white hair, coupled with his devilish looks, immediately attracted everyone's attention. If an ordinary person had a head full of white hair, they would be struck to death by lightning. However, this person did not look out of place at all. In fact, he was supposed to look like this. He was like a poppy. Even though you knew it was poisonous, you could not help but fall for it. Many wealthy young ladies stared at him in a daze. Who's that man? He's so handsome. But why haven't I seen him before? Logically speaking, it's impossible for me to not remember such a special aura if I've seen him before. Amidst the buzzing of whispers, someone in the crowd exclaimed excitedly, "Then could it be that he's the legendary President Yun?" Which director Yun? The CEO of Elon Innovation Investment Group? Fuck, it can't be. The Chable who suddenly appeared not long ago and is rumored to have returned with a huge sum of money? I'm not sure either, because no one has seen what the CEO looks like and doesn't know how old he is. However, rumor has it that he has a head full of white hair and this man's aura. That's why I have my suspicions. Everyone in the crowd discussed among themselves. However, because they were not sure of the man's identity, they did not dare to step forward. That was until the CEO of Mingyuan Technology, the organizer of the cocktail party, accompanied by his assistant, wiped his sweat and hurriedly walked up to the white-haired man. Then, he respectfully led the man in. At the sight of this scene, the sound of people drawing in cold breaths rose and fell in succession. It's really him? There's no mistake. That man must be the CEO of Elon Ventures, Yinshin. Mingyuan Technology was originally just an above-average technology company. It was because of this Elon Ventures tycoon who invested $1 billion yuan that they became the industry leader. Oh my God! In an instant, almost all the bosses' eyes lit up. In their eyes, Elon Ventures was a huge gold mine. Moreover, Elon Ventures had just started and was looking for suitable investment partners. It was the best time to befriend them. For a time, people impatiently walked up one after another, hoping to get a piece of fat meat. Of course, it was more taboo to step forward rashly in such an occasion. Instead, it required someone to introduce him to comply with etiquette. Hence, Cui Mingyuan, the CEO of Mingyuan Technology, immediately became extremely busy. Of course, although he was busy, he still felt very proud that he had managed to invite this person to attend. His slightly plump face was flushed. At that time, he had only sent out the invitation with the attitude of giving it a try. He originally thought that the other party would definitely not be invited, so he did not reveal this matter to anyone present, who knew that in the end, the other party would actually come. It was really flattering. Elon Ventures had just established itself in the country, but it had already invested in a few new companies, and all of them had made huge profits. There were already rumors about this young CEO in the imperial capital's upper-class circle. It was a pity that this person was elusive, and meeting him was harder than reaching the heavens. Now that such a good opportunity had presented itself, how could the guests not seize it? Even Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu instantly forgot about Ning Shi and looked around to find someone to introduce them. As for Ning Shi, after confirming that the person was really Yun Shun, she was racking her brains to think of a way to escape. She was not very clear about the business circle. She had only heard of Elon Ventures a few times, but she never expected that the CEO of this company would be Yun Shin. She had thought that this guy was only temporarily returning to the country, but now it seemed that he was clearly moving to the country step by step. Chapter 1310. That group of people happened to be blocking the entrance. Ningxi searched for a long time, but couldn't find a chance to leave. She could only find a corner to sit down and wait for that person to leave. Based on her understanding of that person, he shouldn't be staying here for too long. However, this time, she didn't know if that guy was really going against her or something else, but he didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. President Yun is really young and promising. It's really admirable to have such achievements at such a young age. I wonder what industry did you work in overseas, President Yin? To be able to accumulate such a terrifying amount of wealth. Everyone else was also very curious about this question. They all suspected that he was a descendant of an old foreign clan with a long history. The white-haired man's slender fingers gently pinched a red wine glass filled with scarlet liquid. Upon hearing the question, he said unhurriedly, "The military fire." As soon as he said that, there was dead silence. Then there was a dry cough. "Ha ha ha, President Yun is really humorous." Yes, yes, President Yun is really good at making jokes. I wonder if President Yin has a girlfriend? Clearly, this was the question that all the bosses present who had daughters were also concerned about. The white-haired man's eyes seemed to be looking in a certain direction. He said faintly, "He did, but he dumped her." Cough, 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 cough. President Yin is joking again. How could a woman dump President Yin? That's right, that's right. That woman must be blind. Not far away, the blind Ning, President Yun's return to the country to invest and support the development of the country is really a righteous act. I wonder which industry are you more interested in? Someone asked. Yin Shun, depend on my mood. Everyone fuck. Can't they have a pleasant chat? They had to continue chatting helplessly. Fine, fine, fine. You're rich. You're reasonable. Whatever you say. Ning Shi watched as Yun Shun's every sentence caused an instant silence, while that group of people continued to chat awkwardly with incomparable determination. Ning Shi was also very impressed by their psychological quality. She waited there for a long time, but Yin Shun didn't leave. Instead, trouble came. She was sitting in the corner, trying to reduce her sense of existence when a pungent smell of alcohol gradually approached. A drunk man in his 40s or 50s with a beer belly stumbled up to her. "You're Ningxi? What can I do for you, sir?" Ningxi frowned. How much?" The man stuttered. "What?" Ningxi narrowed her eyes. "I'm asking you. How much for one night?" The man with the beer belly asked impatiently, the smell of alcohol coming from his mouth. The man's voice was a little loud, and it gradually attracted the attention of some people who were originally in Yunshin. "Sir, you're drunk." Ningxi didn't want to attract attention and tried to be patient. "Cut the crap. I'm asking you how much it is." "Haha, everyone says that you're very arrogant. I like to see how hard you can sleep." The man with the beer belly's words became more and more unpleasant. A hotel manager noticed the commotion and hurried over to help, but the man seemed to have drunk too much. He kept cursing and didn't listen at all. All the people here were distinguished guests, and the hotel manager didn't dare to offend them. The atmosphere was in an impasse. Chapter 13:11. The man with the beer belly pointed at the white wine on the bar and said in a hoarse voice, "You just want money. I have money. If you drink all this wine, I'll invest 50 million in your show." Because the commotion here was too big, everyone was alerted in the end, including the person who was surrounded by the crowd. The veins on Ningxi's forehead bulged. Damn it. What the hell did she do? Nothing good ever came out of meeting that guy. Wow. That's 50 million. For those female celebrities in the entertainment industry, it's actually quite profitable for them to get so many benefits just by drinking some alcohol and sleeping with them. That girl has Ning Qiutong's support. I think Ning Qiutong has an ulterior motive. She's just an adopted daughter. Who doesn't know what an adopted daughter can do? Ning Xiuo looked at the farce not far away and listened to the discussion around her. Her face was full of smugness and mockery. "Ning Yaohua, look at your good daughter. I told you to find a way to get rid of her, but you said she's fine." Zhuang Lingyu's face was unusually gloomy. Even if she was just an adopted daughter, it was embarrassing enough. She couldn't imagine what would happen if people found out she was her biological daughter. Ning Yaohua's face darkened, and he could only say with a stern face, "Why are you scolding me? It was an accident. How could I have predicted it?" Ingfang Lin comforted them. "Hey, uncle and auntie, don't be angry. Ningxi works in the entertainment industry, and she's pretty. This kind of thing is inevitable." Jin Xianxian immediately said, "What? Why didn't Shuelua encounter this kind of thing? Flies don't bite seamless eggs, okay? It's all because of her own indiscretions that this happened." The two of them echoed each other, making Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua look even worse. However, Neither of them wanted to help Ning Shua because they would have to face the stares of others if they did. Anyway, she was brought here by Ning Qiutong and had nothing to do with them. They might as well cut all ties with her and avoid getting into trouble. Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu looked at each other and decided to ignore it. Not far away, the drunken man with the beer belly was still unrelenting. Drink. What? You think it's too little? You're an actress. Do you still think that you're a young lady from a prestigious family? The surrounding people stared at Ning Shi's direction and whispered to each other. Do you think this girl will drink it? So much wine, it's going to kill me. But this is 50 million. Who could control it? I'll drink even if I die. What's the point of saving face? Since she had been discovered, Ning Shi didn't want to pretend anymore. She sneered and said slowly, "What a coincidence. I also like to watch people drink. Sir, if you drink all the wine on the stage, I will give you 1 billion. How about that?" As soon as he finished speaking, after a short period of silence, the crowd burst into an uproar. Hey, this girl really dared to say it. 1 billion. Where did she get the 1 billion? It doesn't matter. Qian Kaijun won't drink it anyway. I suddenly have a little admiration for this girl. She's so cool. Ha ha. I hate people who use alcohol to go crazy and insult people the most. Even if you want to find a woman to play with, you don't have to mess with a girl in public, right? Not far away, the eyes of the white-haired man flickered with a dazzling light. He let out a low chuckle. Huh. Chapter 13:12. From the day she chose to enter the entertainment industry, Ning Shi had been mentally prepared. This kind of thing was too common, and the one in front of her was just a small case. In the past, she might have chosen to keep the peace. But today, she came with Ning Qiutong. If she did nothing and let this man find fault with her, Ning Qiutong would be disgraced. Besides, she had secretly asked the waiter to help her find Ning Qiutong before she said that. Now she could deal with it and wait for Ning Qiutong to come. 1 billion? Bitch, are you kidding me? The man with the beer belly roared. Ning, she said innocently, "Sir, I'm serious. You can drink all this and see if I'm messing with you or not." As soon as she said that, the crowd burst into laughter again. This girl is interesting. Interesting indeed. She's pretty and smart. Ning, she obviously knew that Qian Kaijun wouldn't drink it, so she asked for an exorbitant price. Don't talk nonsense here. Just tell me if you want to drink it or not. Qian Saijuan's eyes glowed fiercely. He was humiliated by a woman in front of so many people. How could he let go? In fact, many people were already on Ning Shi's side. Even if Ning Shi was an adopted daughter and an actress, Qian Saijuan's way of doing things was really too low. On the contrary, Ning Shi's neither servile nor overbearing way of dealing with it won many people's praise. However, Qian Kaijun had some power in the capital, and his brother was an official, so no one dared to offend him. They could only sigh at the girl's bad luck. Qian Kaijun was still pestering Ning Shi. While Ning Shi was stalling for time, the crowd not far away suddenly made way for them. The white-haired man whom she had been hiding from just now was walking through the crowd towards her, and Qian Kaijun step by step. Ning, she immediately concentrated and turned on the first level of alert. What did this guy want to do? Seeing Yun Shun walking over, the others all looked over subconsciously President Qian. The man stopped in front of Qian Kaijun and greeted him. When Qian Kaijun saw Yun Shun, his expression changed, and he immediately sobered up. Director Yun. Qian Kaijun did not expect Yun Shun to take the initiative to talk to him. He quickly rubbed his hands on his clothes and then handed it over. Nice to meet you. I made an appointment to see you for a long time, but you're so busy every day. You're really a busy person. Qian Kaijun couldn't figure out why Yun Shun was looking for him, so he could only suck up to him first. Yun Shun didn't extend his hand, but Qian Kaijun didn't care. Chapter 13:13. This was exactly the same as what Ning Shi had said to Qian Kaijun just now. Everyone looked at each other, and their expressions gradually became a little strange. Could it be that this President Yun was saving the damsel in distress? According to the normal routine, it seemed to be the case. However, just after Yunxin appeared for a short while, everyone had already deeply understood his temperament. It was completely unpredictable and couldn't be judged by common sense. Therefore, they were not sure what he meant at this moment. Ning Shuo saw that she was about to make a fool of herself in public, but she didn't expect that someone would appear in the middle of it. Moreover, this person was Yin Shan. Ning Shula bit her lips so hard that they almost turned purple. Before the matter was clear, Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu were full of doubts, so they didn't act rashly. What do you think? Yin Shun took a sip of wine, and his eyes were full of unknown light. Qian Kai-jun was completely sober at this moment, and his mind was racing. What did the man in front of him mean? Did he really mean to help this woman? Or was he just bored? Or did he really like to watch people drink? It was really impossible to guess. However, 1 billion. That was 1 billion. Originally, he thought that as long as he could get 3 or 500 million yuan, his project could be started. Now facing such a large number, everyone present was tempted, let alone him. Besides, a person like Yun Shun was a man of his word. He couldn't be as careless as this little girl. He had to thank this girl for creating such a good opportunity for him. Thinking of this, Qian Kai-jun made a prompt decision. That's nothing. As long as President Yin likes it, it's a piece of cake. I can't do anything else, but I'm good at drinking. After saying that, Qian Kai-jun took a deep breath, picked up one of the glasses of wine, and drank it in one gulp. Soon, he picked up another glass. Yun Shun stood aside and watched with a faint smile, and he looked at someone out of the corner of his eye. The onlookers were all a little shocked when they saw Qian Kai-jun drinking as if he was drinking water. Damn, so much wine. Isn't Qian Kai-jun afraid of dying for drinking? No matter how good his tolerance is, he can't drink like this, right? I think he's already drunk a lot before. If he continues to drink like this, he might really die, but Qian Kai-jun is really short of money recently. It's such a good opportunity. Who wouldn't want to drink a few glasses of wine? Aren't you willing? Nonsense, of course I'm willing. Seeing that Qian Kai-jun's eyes were getting more and more turbid and that he was about to collapse, Yin Shin's expression did not change at all. There was a frightening coldness in his eyes. Everyone inexplicably lowered their voices. She saw that Qian Kai-jun's stomach was still bloated like a ball, and she pinched her eyebrows. Finally, Qian Kai-jun finished all the wine on the table. President Yin, are you satisfied? Yin Shin raised his eyebrows and said slowly, Tisk, I was just joking. I didn't expect you to take it seriously. You're so cute. Those words. If he was joking, why didn't he interrupt halfway? Why did he look at it for so long? He was simply angered to the point of vomiting blood. Qian Kai-jun's eyes widened in disbelief. He wanted to be angry, but he didn't dare to be angry. His face was twisted to the extreme. Had he been fooled? They didn't expect Yun Shin to make a slip of the tongue on the spot. The others were also dumbfounded. At the same time, they felt that it was natural. This was really something that this unconventional character would do. Chapter 13-14. Just as Qian Kai-jun almost fainted from anger, Yin Shin changed the topic and said, Alas, I have limited funds, so 1 billion is out of the question. However, it's not a problem for me to give you less than that. Hearing Yun Shin's words, Qian Kai-jun suddenly came back to life. Of course I understand. President Yin, you can invest as much as you like. It was at least 3 or 500 million yuan. Yun Shun tilted his head and said something to the black-clothed bodyguard beside him with a cold expression. Then, the bodyguard left. It seemed that he was going to get the money. Soon, the bodyguard came back. In front of Qian Kai-jun's expectant face, he reached out to him expressionlessly. Qian Kai-jun eagerly opened his palm. In the next second, a silver 1 yuan coin fell into Qian Kai-jun's fat palm. Everyone, including Qian Kai-jun, was dumbfounded again. 1 yuan. Were their eyes playing tricks on them? 1 yuan? Is that 1 yuan? Did I see it wrong? Yes, it's 1 yuan. Damn. This CEO, Yun, is really amazing. I can't guess what he will do next. Does President Yun have a grudge against Qian Kaijun? Who knows? But I think it's possible. Qian Kaijun deserves it. It's not the first time that this old guy has made trouble for a girl. Last time at the charity auction, he deliberately used 1 yuan to humiliate her. This is retribution. Why do I feel that there's something going on between President Yun and this girl? With a clatter, 1 yuan fell into Qian Kaijun's palm. Then with a bang, Qian Kaijun fell on his back. This time, he really fainted because of anger. Ning Shuo, who had been watching nervously for a long time, died. The hotel manager hurriedly asked the waiter to carry Ning Shuo out. Facing Yunshun, he didn't even dare to say a word. Instead, he said cautiously, "Dear guest, I'm sorry to frighten you. I'm really sorry." Seeing that things had developed to this point, she and Yunshun were surrounded by everyone, and there were more and more speculations and discussions around them. Ning, she had a headache and hurriedly wanted to take advantage of the chaos when Qian Kaijun fainted to leave. At this moment, Ning Yaohua, who had been watching from the corner for a long time, couldn't bear to stay any longer. He excitedly went forward and said, "Thank you, Director Yun, for lending a helping hand just now and helping my daughter out of trouble," Ning Yaohua said as he handed over a business card with both hands. "President Yun, I'm Ning Yaohua, the chairman of Ning's International Group. I've submitted a project plan to your company before. Do you have any impression of it?" No matter why Yunshin made a move, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There were so many people around him just now, and he didn't even have a chance to speak. Ning, she looks at Ning Yaohua, who didn't say a word when he saw her being picked on just now, but now ran over quickly. Her eyes are dark. Yunshin glanced at the girl's face, took the business card, and said, "Ning's International Group. I have an impression of it." Ning Yaohua was overjoyed and then kept talking about the details. "I didn't expect President Yun to remember it. Although our Ning's International Group is not one of the best in the capital, it is also a time-honored company in the industry. Besides, we have always cooperated closely with the Su family. Besides, our channels..." Chapter 13-15. Not far away. Everyone watched as Ning Yaohua took advantage of the situation. There wasn't a single person who wasn't envious. Ning Yaohua is really good at making trouble. He didn't even know whether he helped your daughter or not, but he just went to curry favor with him. We've been busy for so long, but none of us got anything good. He took advantage of us. He's so lucky. At the same time, Yunshin listened to Ning Yaohua's words very patiently from beginning to end, and gave some comments and responses from time to time. Ning Yaohua was overjoyed. Then he asked carefully, "What do you think, President Yun?" Zhuang Lingyu felt the envious eyes around her and looked at her husband with relief and pride. Even Ning Shuiluo forgot about Ning Shi and looked nervously at the white-haired man in front of her. If this project was successful, Ning's would take a big step forward. Most importantly, after the old master made his will, Ning Yaohua really needed an important achievement to gain a foothold and the right to speak in the situation where no one could do anything to the other after the old master's will. Finally, Yun Shun said, "Chairman Ning's project is good. So? Under the nervous and expectant eyes of Ning Yaohua and the other two, Yun Shun smiled and looked at Ning Shi. "So, honey, what do you think? Do you think I should invest in your father?" Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, Ning Shuo, Ning Shi. Damn it. She had lowered her status to such a low level without saying a word. Why was she still implicated? She knew she couldn't hide from it tonight. Besides, what, father? This guy was deliberately disgusting her. For a moment, Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, and Ning Shuo all looked at Ning Shi in disbelief, as if they had seen a ghost. What the hell was going on? Ning Shi took a deep breath, forced herself to calm down, and said with a straight face, "President Yun, you must be joking. This matter seems to have nothing to do with me, right?" Hearing this, Ning Yaohua was anxious. He had no time to think about what was going on and shouted, "Xiaoxi, don't talk nonsense. Alas, it's really a pity. In this case, forget it." Yin directly rejected the intention of investment with a light sentence. Ning Yaohua's entire face darkened, and Zhuang Lingyu's expression also turned ugly. Ning Xiaolua clenched her fists tightly. She could not help but ask, "What is the relationship between Mr. Yin and my sister?" Ning Shi immediately said, "It's okay." But Yinshan had no intention of stopping. She looked at Ning Shi with a chuckle and continued to say, "How could it be nothing? Darling, I'm your—" Ning Shi immediately glanced at him. Bastard. If he dared to spout nonsense, she would take him down with her. Huh. The man finally had enough fun. He looked at Ning Shi's eyes, which were as wide as Niu Ling's, and smiled. "I'm your loyal fan." Ning Shi, Ning Yaohua, and Zhuang Lingyu looked at each other, dumbfounded. Ning Xiaolua suddenly thought of something, and her face turned pale. Ning Shi's fans, she suddenly remembered what had happened at the charity gala. Could it be that he was the mysterious number 8 who spent 100 million to buy the crown for Ning Shi? At that time, the host said that this person was Ning Shi's fan. Chapter 13:16. Obviously, Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu also thought of this, and their eyes were full of surprise and doubt. They could never have expected that the person they had tried so hard to find turned out to be Ning Shi's fan. And she was so obsessed with Ning Shi that she would listen to everything she said. Ning Yaohua hated Ning Shi when he thought of her answer just now. This damn girl, if she had agreed just now, she would have gotten the 1 billion yuan investment. As far as he knew, Yinshan had invested at least 1 billion yuan. Ning Yaohua wanted to make up for it, but Yinshan didn't want to talk to him anymore, so he turned around and left. Before leaving, he paused and turned to look at Ning Shi. "Honey, don't miss me too much. We'll meet again soon." Ning Shi, as soon as Yinshan left, Ning Yaohua couldn't stand it anymore. Zhuang Lingyu also pointed the spear at her. "Ning Shi, why are you so immature? Why didn't you just say that you wanted him to invest? Do you know how much the company lost because of your words?" "Sister, you did go too far just now." Ning Shi glanced at the three of them and was almost disgusted to death. She said coldly, "When I was picked on by Qin Kai Jun just now, you acted as if you didn't know me at all. Now you wanted to ask a stranger to do me such a big favor. How do you expect me to repay this favor in the future?" "Cece, I didn't have time just now. I was about to stop him. You can't lose your temper over such a trifle. Why don't you find a time to have dinner with President Yunshin and talk to him on my behalf?" Thinking of Yunshin's special treatment of Ning Shi, Ning Yaohua didn't want to fall out with her, so he tried to soften his tone. "So what if we didn't go there at that time? Do you want to drag us down with you?" Zhuang Lingyu's tone was not so good. Thinking of what she had done and how she had screwed up everything just now, she was full of anger. Ning Xiaolua patted Zhuang Lingyu's back thoughtfully, telling her not to be too angry. Just then, a woman's sharp voice came from behind. "Oh, it's really embarrassing. Auntie." Ning Shi looked at the newcomer. Ning Xiaodong had heard the whole story from the waiter. She touched Ning Shi's head with a distressed look, and then turned to the three of them sharply. "Ning Shi is really ashamed to have parents like you. When something happens, all of you run faster than anyone else. When you see that she has value, you call her daughter. Brother and sister-in-law's shamelessness has really broadened my horizons. You?" Zhuang Lingyu's face darkened with anger. "Me what? I'm telling you today, you've never raised her, taught her, or acknowledged her. You have no right to ask her to do anything." "Ahem, Qiu Tong, lower your voice." Ning Yaohua looked around cautiously. Ning Xiaotong was so angry that her beautiful eyes were full of fire, but her face seemed to be covered with a layer of frost. Holding Ning Shi's hand, she suddenly strode to the center of the crowd. What does she want to do?" Zhuang Lingyu suddenly had a bad premonition. Ning Shi frowned and looked at Ning Xiaotong. "Aunt," Ning Xiaotong interrupted her and said, "Xiaoxi, don't talk. I'll handle everything." With that, she said directly in front of everyone present, "Everyone." For a moment, everyone's eyes subconsciously looked towards Ning Xiaotong's direction. "Babies, I need to tell everyone that I need to sort out the outline. From today on, I will update 4 chapters a day. I will recover as soon as possible. In case I don't want to vomit blood in this chapter, I will write another chapter later. Chapter 13:17. Along with Ning Qiutong's voice, everyone immediately looked over suspiciously, not knowing what Ning Qiutong wanted to do. Everyone looked at each other and shook their heads as they discussed among themselves. Ning Qiutong said, I already know what happened just now. I will pursue Qian Saijuan's actions and harassment of my niece to the end. Of course, I will not only use legal means. That meant she was going to mess with him. Ning Qiutong would do this for an adopted daughter from the countryside? Even Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu didn't say anything for a moment. Everyone was even more confused. In addition, I think you seem to have misunderstood something, so I need to explain something to you. I'll just introduce Xiaoxia to you. She is my niece, not adopted. As soon as Ning Qiutong finished speaking, there was an uproar. Ning Shua's face turned pale. Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu wanted to stop her, but it was too late. Ning Qiutong continued quickly. When Ningxi and Ning Shua were born, they were switched in a hospital. We didn't bring Ningxi back to the Ning family until she was 18. Ningxi is my niece, the daughter of the eldest wife of the Ning family. Today, not to mention Xiaoxi's identity, even if she was just an ordinary girl, Mr. Qian Saijuan's behavior just now was despicable enough. I believe no one has any objection to this. Zhuang Lingyu's pupils suddenly shrank. Ning Qiutong, how dare she? How dare she? I'm going to tear her apart. Ning Yaohua stopped Zhuang Lingyu. Calm down. What kind of occasion is this? Isn't this a big enough mess? What good will it do if you quarrel with her now? What she said is true. Why don't we wait until things calm down? At this moment, no one had the time to care about Qian Kaijun. All their attention was on the explosive news about Ning Qiutong. What's going on? Ning Xiulua is not her biological daughter? Ningxi is? Wait, I'm dizzy. So, Ningxi is the daughter of the Ning family, while Ning Xiulua is just a village girl. That's incredible. No wonder Ningxi's temperament and demeanor are so outstanding. I didn't expect that there was such a hidden story. TSK. He actually dared to flirt with a proper young lady in public. He's really in trouble now. No wonder Ning Qiutong is so angry. I don't think it's that simple. If what Ning Qiutong said is true, why hasn't the Ning family announced Ning Xi's identity? Instead, he treats Ning Shueluo as his real daughter? Are Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu out of their minds? Ning Shueluo's 2 best friends, Ying Fonglin and Jin Xianxian, looked at each other and then at Ning Shueluo. Their expressions became extremely strange. Ning Shuo was not the biological daughter of the Ning family. She was the country bumpkin? On the contrary, Ningxi was the real miss of the Ning family? How could this be possible? If that was the case, why did the 2 of them hang out with her all day long, treat her like a spoiled princess, and laugh at Ningxi every time? What if that was the case? Ning Shueluo herself would definitely know about it. Why would she not say anything and just look at them like fools? What the hell was going on? Chapter 13:18. Shueluo, what the hell is going on? Is your aunt crazy? How could she say that Ningxi is the eldest daughter of the Ning family? She even said that you and Ningxi were mistaken? Ying Fonglin looked incredulous. Ning Shueluo pinched her nails and said with a tearful face, I don't know why she said that. Ying Fonglin and Jin Xianxian exchanged a look. They didn't believe Ning Shueluo's words. There were too many strange things about this matter. Sorry to disturb you. I wish you a pleasant evening. I'll hold a banquet to apologize to you. After Ning Qiutong finished her words, she led Ningxi away, leaving behind a group of people who were dumbfounded and Ning Yaohua and his wife, who were badly battered. Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu couldn't let it go so easily. They immediately went to Grandpa Ning. Ning Qiutong wouldn't let Ning Yaohua and his wife off, so she took Ningxi to the old mansion of the Ning family. Just nice. There were some things that needed to be cleared up tonight. It's so late. What's all this noise about? Grandpa Ning looked at the noisy room angrily. Not only Ning Yaohua and Ning Qiutong, but also Ning Yaobang, who was eager to see the world in chaos, came here. He had just received the news that Ning Qiutong had exposed the affair between Ning Shi and Ning Xiuluo in public, and Ning Yaohua and Ning Qiutong had a fight. What a drama! Of course, he came here to watch it. Zhuang Lingyu almost went crazy with anger. Dad, why don't you ask your niece what she did? Ning Qiutong has gone too far. She took Ning Shi to the cocktail party of Mingyuan technology without telling us. Ning Qiutong sneered. Without telling? Sister-in-law, mind your words. It's my freedom to take whoever I want. I have no reason to report to you. Shut up. Ning Shi is my... Huh? What is she to you? Zhuang Lingyu took a deep breath. Don't change the subject. With that, he looked at Grandpa Luo and said, Dad, it's okay that she took Ning Shi to the party, but she even said that Ning Shi is my biological daughter and that Ning Shi and Shui Luo were switched at the wrong house. Ning Yaohua also said, Dad, Qiutong really went overboard this time. Old Master Shang's gaze swept across the crowd, and he said in a low voice, What's too much? Qiutong is just telling the truth. Dad, Zhuang Lingyu immediately called out. On the side, Ning Shuiluo's eyes were instantly filled with malice. All right, stop fighting. Although this isn't the right time, this matter should have been mentioned a long time ago. I've already given the two of you such a long time to prepare and let you deal with it properly. In the end, what did you give me? Do I have to wait until the day Xiaoxia returns to her family, even after I die? The old man knocked his crutch hard and looked angry. Zhuang Lingyu said angrily, Dad, aren't you being too biased? Now that Qiutong has caused such a ruckus, how do you expect our Shui Luo to behave? How do you expect others to look at her? Ning Qiutong snorted. Then why don't you think about how Xiaoxia, who has been called an adopted daughter from the countryside, behaves in the past few years, and how others think of her? What? Why can't she bear the grievances that Xiaoxia can bear? Is she nobler than anyone else? Being forced into silence by Ning Qiutong again and again, Zhuang Lingyu finally couldn't bear it anymore and rushed forward. The scene suddenly became chaotic. Ning Yaohua hurriedly tried to pull her back, but didn't control his strength. Ning Qiutong was almost hit in the face by Ning Yaohua's elbow. In the end, Ning Shi twisted her wrist and threw her a meter away. Then she stood behind Ning Qiutong, protecting her. You unfilial son! How dare you hit me? Ning Yaohua felt a sharp pain in his wrist and immediately flew into a rage. Chapter 13:19. Stop it, all of you. How dare you? Grandpa Ning was furious. Ning Yaohua stared at Ning Shi as if staring at his enemy. You unfilial son. Don't think I don't know what you were thinking. You tried so hard to get close to your aunt just for the shares, didn't you? Do you think you can inherit the company just because you got the shares from your aunt? Do you think the old guys in the company are easy to deal with? Without my protection, you will be swallowed up by them. Zhuang Lingyu sneered. You said you don't want the things of the Ning family, and you don't want us as your parents. What are you doing now? Shut up, both of you. Xiaoxia has a good reason to inherit the company. Grandpa Ning said angrily. In the quarrel, Ning Shi suddenly said, As for the shares, I plan to ask everyone to come out tomorrow to make it clear. Since you two can't wait any longer, let's solve it now. Grandpa is here. Grandpa Ning frowned. Xiaoxia, Ning Shi gave him a reassuring look and then took out a stack of documents from her bag. In an instant, Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, Ning Shuo, and Ning Yaobang all looked at the document in Ning Shi's hand, because on the first page of the document, there were a few words written in bold black letters. Share transfer certificate. Ning Yaohua and Ning Yaobang stared at it with wide eyes. Share transfer certificate, Ning Yaobang exclaimed. Was Ning Shi going to transfer the shares? Ning Xiuluo's face was filled with nervousness. Was Ning Shi convinced by her previous offer? No, this bitch never wanted anything good for her. How could she sell the shares to her? Pa! Ning Shi flipped open the equity transfer agreement and slapped it on the table. Suddenly, the contents of the share transfer certificate appeared in front of everyone. Share transfer agreement of Ning's International Company, Limited Transfer. Ning Shi, Party A, transferee. Ning Xiaotong, Party B. Ning Xiaotong. Seeing this name, Ning Yaohua and the others were all dumbfounded. However, they were more surprised by what happened next. It was written in the share transfer certificate that Party A would transfer 10% of the shares of Ning's International to Party B for free. For free. Ning Shi, you're crazy. Ning Yaohua couldn't hold it in anymore. Zhuang Lingyu also looked incredulous. She didn't expect that Ning Shi would give all her shares to Ning Qiutong for free. Even if she gave it to Ning Qiutong for free, she wouldn't sell it to them? Ning Qiutong looked at the transfer of shares and had mixed feelings. Obviously, she didn't expect Ning Shi to do this. They had only met a few times, but she trusted her enough to hand over so many shares to her. Ning Yaobang said bitterly, "Sai niece, even if you're not interested in the company and don't want to give it to your brother, you can sell it to me. You're too stupid to give it to someone else without taking a single cent." Dad, are you just going to let Ning Shi do whatever she wants? Ning Yaohua was anxious. Ning Ziyuan took a look at Ning Shi. Seeing the determination in her eyes, he took a deep breath and said, "Since I've given the shares to Xiaoxia, they belong to her. She can do whatever she wants with them." Zhuang Lingyu hated Ning Qiutong the most. How could she allow Ning Qiutong to occupy 20% of the shares of Ning's International? She jumped over Ning Yaohua's head and immediately said angrily, Chapter 1320. Dad, Qiutong is an outsider. It's hard to convince the public if she holds so many shares. Ning Ziyuan glanced at Ning Xuelua. You know who the outsider is. I didn't want to say anything hurtful. I've watched my two granddaughters grow up. They're all the same to me, but what you did to Xiaoxia was too much. After Ning Ziyuan finished speaking, he looked at Ning Xuelua fiercely. Xuelua, as you can see, this family has been turned into a mess because of you. If you still have a shred of gratitude towards the Ning family for raising you and a shred of guilt towards your sister, then you should talk to your father and mother. If Ning Xuelua really didn't want anything, Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu wouldn't have ended up like this. He had to be careful of this girl. Now Xiaoxia gave the shares to Qiutong. It was undoubtedly the best choice for Xiaoxia to be protected by Qiutong. 5 years ago, after Grandpa Ning found out that his only grandson was not his biological son, he fell seriously ill and was hospitalized as soon as he took Xiaoxia back. Later, he didn't know a lot of things and didn't have the energy to care about it, which led to the current situation. What about the Su family? How can I explain it to them? At this moment, thinking of all kinds of things, Zhuang Lingyu was anxious and hated Ning Shi and Ning Qiutong to the bone. What happened tonight is so big that the Su family will definitely hear about it. If they know that Xuo is not my biological daughter. Ning Qiutong squinted at Zhuang Lingyu and said quietly, "Paper can't wrap fire. I'm just helping you face it in advance, in case you get kicked out when you get married." Zhuang Lingyu pointed at her face. "You, Ning Qiutong, will you only be happy when you make us all restless? Can you feel at ease with the shares?" Ning Qiutong looked innocent. "My nephew gave it to me. Why can't I feel at ease?" The old man let out a long sigh. "Regarding Shui Luo's matter, I've already told you to tell your in-laws the truth. The three of you took turns to cry in front of me, insisting on hiding it. Now, all the consequences will be borne by you. Dad, if the marriage with the Su family falls through, it will affect the entire Ning's International Group." Ning Yaohua was so anxious that he stomped his feet. Now that Shui Luo's identity was known, even his status as the biggest shareholder was not guaranteed. Wouldn't this marriage be on the verge of collapse? Although my Ning family isn't good, it's not to the extent of relying on marriage to gain a foothold. Didn't you guys keep telling me that the Su family had their eyes on Shui Luo and that it had nothing to do with the Ning family? So, it doesn't matter if I say Shui Luo's identity or not. Ning Ziyuan's face was full of exhaustion. He didn't want to listen to Ning Yaohua's pestering anymore. After that, he asked the nanny to help him leave. Ning Yaohua was suddenly speechless. At that time, he said that to calm the old man, but how could a biological child be the same as a non-biological child? Behind him, Ning Yaobang sneered. What do you mean by affect the entire Ning Enterprises? That sounds so nice. I think it's because you don't have a backer. Although it was Ning Xiaodong who benefited this time, he was happy to see Ning Yaohua suffer. Ning Shuluo forced herself to calm down and looked at Ning Shi anxiously. Cici, think it over. It's all my fault. It has nothing to do with Dad and Mom. They're your biological parents and will never hurt you. Cici, don't be fooled by others. Chapter 1321. Zhuang Lingyu pulled Ning Shuluo over. Shuluo, what do you have to say to her? I can see it now. She wants us to die one by one to satisfy her heart. By then, Old Master and Ning Yaobang had already left, leaving only Ning Qiutong in the room. Thus, Zhuang Lingyu couldn't care less and blurted out in agitation. She still hates us because of what happened back then. She got pregnant and lied to us that it was Su Yan's. That's why Su Yan left her and chose Shui Luo. We had no choice but to send her overseas so that she wouldn't be found out by others. We didn't reveal her identity because we were afraid that someone would dig it out. We were worried that Old Master would be agitated, so we didn't even tell him. We've already done our best. She only had herself to blame for everything that had happened. What right does she have to hate us now? Lingyu stopped talking. Ning Yaohua's face darkened when he saw that Zhuang Lingyu had blurted out such a thing. After all, it was the biggest stain on his life. Ning Shuo also tried to persuade her, Mom, stop talking. Even if Brother Yin doesn't like Sister anymore, I shouldn't have been with Brother Yin back then. In the end, Sister has been feeling uncomfortable because of this. Ning Qiutong was shocked when she heard such a long paragraph. What? So many things had happened back then. From Zhuang Lingyu's tone, Su Yan had been with Ningxi. Ningxi got pregnant and lied to them that it was Su Yan's. She had been in the business world for so many years, so she had the ability to read people's minds. Ningxi didn't seem like someone who would do such a thing. Ning Qiutong said decisively, Are you sure that it's like what you said, and that there's no secret behind it? What secret could there be? I was the one who took care of her when she was pregnant for a few months, because I heard that she was pregnant with Su Yan's child. When she was about to give birth, Su Yan came back from a business trip overseas and told me personally that the child wasn't his at all. He had never slept with Ningxi. Do you know how embarrassed I was at that time? Recalling the situation at that time, Zhuang Lingyu's face became dark and ugly. Ning Yaohua also said in a low voice, Qiutong, you always think that Lingyu and I are heartless, but we really have our own difficulties. We shouldn't wash our dirty linen in public. We didn't want to talk about these things at first. Have you said enough? In the empty room, the girl's cold voice rang out. Zhuang Lingyu looked at Ning, she in the corner with disgust. Did I poke your sore spot? Now that you know how to be embarrassed, what were you doing earlier? After a long while, Ning she raised her clear and bright eyes. Do you know what the stupidest thing I did back then was? I didn't treat Su Yan wholeheartedly, nor did I treat Ning Shuo like a sister without any wariness. Instead, after that incident, I cried like a dog and tried to explain to you, begging you to believe that I didn't do it. Now, I'm sorry, you can think whatever you want. It has nothing to do with me. Having said that, Ning she turned around and left. Ning Qiutong hurriedly chased after her. When she reached the door, she couldn't help but turn around and look at Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu. You'd rather believe two outsiders than your own daughter. Brother and sister-in-law, you've really opened my eyes. Take a good look at what's behind you. Chapter 1322. After Ning Qiutong and Ning she left, Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu's faces darkened. Zhuang Lingyu said angrily, That girl, she still tried to deny it. Ning Shuilua's face was full of sadness. Damn, I'm really grateful to you all these years. Thank you for bringing me up. Thank you for your love and trust. It's really not what I wanted to see. Although I really can't bear to part with you, I think I should leave. Zhuang Lingyu's face changed. Shuiluo, what do you mean? Ning Yaohua frowned and said, Shuiluo, what nonsense are you talking about? Where are you going? Ning Shuiluo's face was pale. Anywhere. I really don't want to cause you any more trouble. You've done enough for me and suffered enough. Grandpa was right. If I had even the slightest bit of gratitude in my heart, I shouldn't have continued to stay in this house. This place doesn't belong to me. I should go back to the place that belongs to me. I should have gone back a long time ago. It's me. I'm too greedy for your love. Shuiluo, your grandpa didn't mean to chase you away. You don't need to care about what others say. I raised you myself. As your mother, how can I not know what kind of person you are? Don't do anything stupid. Don't leave me. Zhuang Lingyu tried to persuade her. Ning Shuilua cried. But Mom, I really can't stay in this house anymore. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Zhuang Lingyu glared at Ning Yaohua and gestured for him to think of a solution. Ning Yaohua sighed, then muttered, Shuiluo, I know you've been wronged, but it's not as serious as you think. Luckily, there weren't many people at the party last night. At that time, I immediately blocked the news. This matter will definitely not be spread, and it will not affect your personal and career in any way. As for how others treat you, it depends on your mother and I. You're the apple of our eyes. With us supporting you, who would dare to look down on you? Zhuang Lingyu agreed. Yes, that's right. Ning Yaohua's phone suddenly rang while the two of them were trying to persuade her. Ning Shuilua's mood had finally calmed down a little. The caller ID showed Su Hongguang. The Su family was calling him. Ning Yaohua's expression changed. He calmed himself and picked up the phone under Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Shuilua's nervous gaze. A cold snort came from the other end of the phone. I don't dare to call you in-law. Chairman Ning, I'm sure you already know why I'm looking for you. I hope you can give me a satisfactory answer on this matter. Our Su family is a reputable figure in the imperial capital. Now that things have turned out like this, how are we going to continue living in this circle in the future? Our family is a big shot in the capital. Now that this has happened, how shuali? Ning Yaohua felt uncomfortable when he heard this, but he could only patiently reply, In-law, your words are too serious. Shuiluo was pampered by me and Lingyu since she was young. She's the apple of our eyes. She's the daughter of a rich family. What do you mean by imposter? You've all seen her character and ability, haven't you? Chapter 1323. Ning Yaohua, don't try to change the subject. Is this a reason for you to lie to the Su family? Su Hongguang sounded even angrier. Ning Yaohua said in a low voice, Don't worry about this. I'll give you a satisfactory answer. Okay, then I'll give you 3 days. With a snap, the other end hung up the phone. After hanging up, Ning Yaohua's face was gloomy. Zhuang Lingyu immediately asked, How did it go? What did the in-laws say? A glint flashed across Ning Shuilua's eyes. Then, she said in despair and sorrow, Aunt has already exposed this matter. With her influence, I'm afraid everyone will believe at least half of it. It's fine if others don't look into it, but the Su family will definitely get to the bottom of it once they hear about it. This matter can't be hidden, and I don't want to lie to them anymore. Dad, Mom, don't worry. I'll break up with Su Yin now. Ning Yaohua's face immediately darkened, and he said sternly, Shuiluo, you're crazy. How can you talk about this kind of thing? Dad, it's already like this. Instead of letting the Su family bring it up, why don't I bring it up myself? That way, I can save some face for myself. I have nothing now. I don't deserve Big Brother Yan. Ning Shuo started crying as she spoke. Silly child, don't cry. It's all Mom's fault. When I saw Ning Chiotong, I should have been more vigilant. Zhuang Lingyu comforted the crying Ning Shuo. Ning Yaohua fell into deep thought. Although Shuiluo's words were a little impulsive, they were not unreasonable. Last time when the old master made his will, he didn't give Shuiluo any shares. The Su family already had some complaints. How could he not give shares to his biological daughter, but give shares to his adopted daughter? Fortunately, Su Yin probably went back to persuade them, so they didn't say much. But now, no matter what, it couldn't be justified. Shuo Luo wasn't his biological daughter, and she didn't have any shares. Not to mention that she would definitely lose her status after marrying him. The problem now was whether this marriage could be kept or not. It wasn't easy for Shuo Luo to be able to marry into the Su family. If this marriage was lost, it would be a huge loss to him. To him, the Su family was more important than the shares. A large part of the reason why he could stand on the board of directors was because of the Su family support. Therefore, no matter what method was used, this marriage must be preserved. And now the only way to prove the Ning family's sincerity and raise Shuo Luo's status was only one, which was to transfer all the shares under his name to Shuo Luo's. This way, the Su family would not be able to say anything. But if he were to transfer all of his shares to Shuo Luo, such a big matter, it was really hard for him to make a decision in a short period of time. No matter how good Shuo Luo is, she is still not his biological daughter. Thus, Ning Yaohua was caught in a dilemma. After a long while, Ning Yaohua then took a deep breath and said, "Shuo Luo, don't be anxious. Let me think about it. As for Su Yin, you must not be impulsive. I will help you settle everything properly." When Ning Shuo Luo heard that, a glimmer flashed past her eyes. But on her face, she still had an expression of despair. She didn't nod nor shake her head, leaving Ning Yaohua with an ambiguous attitude, forcing Ning Yaohua to make a decision quickly. Chapter 1324. Outside the gate of the Ning family. Xiaoxia, have you thought it through? Do you really want to give me the shares? And just take it. I don't want to touch the Ning family's property, nor do I want others to take advantage of it. Fortunately, you showed up. I'm afraid this share will cause you trouble. Ning, she said worriedly. Ning Qiutong sneered. Oh, trouble? With that little bit of ability of theirs, they aren't troublesome enough for me to pay attention to them. In this case, Xiaoxia, I won't refuse this share. I'll take it. Just focus on what you want to do. I'll take care of the Ning family. Thank you, Aunt. Ning, she looked at Ning Qiutong gratefully and then couldn't help asking, Aunt, won't you ask me about what happened in the past? Ning Qiutong smiled. What's there to ask? I can guess what's going on even with my toes. It's just that with Ning Shuo's cunning, there must have been no witnesses. Now that Ning Shuo is accusing you, and even Su Yin is on her side, you won't be able to explain yourself even if you have 100 mouths. Those who don't believe you can say it no matter how many times you say it. Those who believe you, don't say a word. Don't worry, I believe you. Seeing the capable and gentle woman hugging her, Ning, she had mixed feelings. Aunt, the girl didn't say anything, but Ning Qiutong could feel her emotions. She touched the girl's hair lovingly. Good girl, you've been wronged. Don't worry. Ning Shuo's henchmen won't be able to hide for long. Your parents will regret it sooner or later. Ning Qiutong sighed in her heart as she spoke. It was not easy for the girl to endure for so many years. No matter how much resentment she had, what could she do? They were her biological parents. No matter what she did to them, she would be in the wrong. As for the Ning's international group, it was Grandpa Ning's painstaking effort, so she couldn't touch it. Fortunately, the girl had persisted to this day. She hadn't been blinded by hatred and gone astray. She had found her own direction and was developing better and better. Thinking of this, Ning Qiutong was relieved. Such a good child, it was really a pity. Maybe what happened in the past, especially Su Yan's betrayal, was a big blow to her. She had to pay attention to see if there was a suitable man around her, so that Xiaoxia would have someone to rely on in the future. There were several young men around Laogua, and they seemed to be good people. After chatting with Ning Qiutong for a while, both of them went home. Halfway through the drive, Ning, she suddenly remembered something. Oh no, I forgot about Sister Tianxin. Recalling Ning Tianxin's strange attitude when she left, Ning, she hurriedly called Ning Tianxin. The phone rang a dozen times, but no one answered. Ning, she was anxious. Damn it. Nothing bad happened, right? Ning, she cursed the nameless scumbag hundreds of times in her heart, then turned the car around and drove towards Ning Tianxin's place. As far as she knew, Ning Tianxin didn't live with Ning Yaobang. Instead, she rented a house outside. She had been there before, so she had an impression of it. A moment later, Ningxi's car stopped in front of a slightly old building. The houses here were a little old, so they looked very old. Most of them were retro buildings. They looked quiet and elegant in the daytime, but a little sad at night. Ningxi parked the car downstairs, then hurriedly ran to the door and knocked. Chapter 1325. Knock, knock, knock. The knock on the door echoed in the empty house. It was dark in the building. Ning Tianxin didn't know if there was anyone inside, but it was so late and Ning Tianxin had nowhere to go. This was the only place she could come to. Could it be that something had happened inside? She pressed the doorbell for a long time, but no one answered the door. She was ready to break the door open. Just then, with a squeak, the door was pulled open from the inside. Ning Tianxin stood there blankly with a pale face. When she saw Ningxi, she couldn't help throwing herself into Ningxi's arms. Xiaoxi, Xiaoxi, what should I do? Ningxi's heart sank. Are you pregnant? Hearing these two words, Ning Tianxin's body suddenly trembled. Her head, which was on her shoulder, nodded lightly. She said with excitement, Yes, I'm pregnant. I've tried a few different pregnancy tests. I've tested many times. I'm pregnant all the time. All of them are, okay, don't worry. Let go in first. Ningxi suppressed her murderous anger and carefully helped Ning Tianxin into the room. Turning on the light, Ningxi looked at the pregnancy tests on the table and felt a headache. How many months? Ningxi asked. About 3 months. Do you usually have no reaction? I'm more sleepy, have a bad appetite, and feel a little nauseous. But I had the same reaction when I was not in a good state. My period was also disordered when I was stressed, so I didn't think about it at all. Ning Tianxin buried her head in pain. Ningxi pinched between her eyebrows and asked the key question, What are you going to do now? Do you want this child or not? No, I don't want it. Ning Tianxin immediately shook her head. She thought Ning Tianxin would be reluctant. After all, this was the child of the man she had loved for so many years. She didn't expect Ning Tianxin would say no so decisively. She was a little surprised. Are you sure? Ning Tianxin nodded affirmatively. Cici, I don't want to give up this child, but I can't have him. I don't want my tragedy to repeat itself on him. Hearing this, Ningxi suddenly understood. Ning Tianxin's parents didn't have a good relationship. As a victim, she naturally didn't want her future child to be hurt like this. Ning Tianxin said slowly, That man, he already has someone he likes. He likes her very much, just like how I like him. I've liked him for many years. So, I understand him too well. It's impossible for him to give up that woman. I don't want to use a child to tie him down. I can't have this child. Hearing Ning Tianxin's words, she felt a sense of appreciation. Her cousin seemed to be weak, but she was very assertive on this matter. However, looking at Ning Tianxin's painful expression, it was obvious how much she struggled to make such a cruel decision. She couldn't bear to see her like this. She said tentatively, Sister Tianxin, why don't you test that man's attitude before making a decision? Maybe there's a possibility between the two of you? Ning Tianxin shook her head. No need. I've already made up my mind last time. After knowing that he was with me that night, he was in so much pain. He was in so much pain that he betrayed the person he loved. Why should I make things difficult for him? Chapter 1326. Silly girl, Ning, she didn't know what to say. She didn't want Ning Tianxin to feel embarrassed. Didn't she think about herself? She had to face the panic of being pregnant and the pain of aborting the baby. But she had been through this before, and she didn't have the right to criticize Ning Tianxin. No one could help Ning Tianxin in this kind of situation. She could only rely on herself to break free and get over it. Ningxi was actually relieved that Ning Tianxin was going to abort the baby. She was a single mother, and it would be hard for her to raise a child alone. Although she didn't know who that man was from Ning Tianxin's description, he wasn't someone she could trust. Have you made up your mind? Ningxi asked. Ning Tianxin took a deep breath and nodded. Yes. Ningxi opened her arms and hugged Ning Tianxin. Okay, I will support all your decisions. The pregnancy test can be wrong. What you need to do now is to go to the hospital for a more detailed examination tomorrow to confirm whether you are really pregnant. I'll go with you tomorrow. Thank you, Xiaoxi. Don't mention it. If you really want to thank me, tell me who that man is. I'm really angry now. If I don't beat him up, I'll die. Ningxi said as she rolled up her sleeves. Ning Tianxin chuckled. Xiaoxi, don't be silly. That man has some power in the capital. I know you're impatient, so I don't want you to do anything impulsive. I don't want you to get into trouble, and it's not necessary. I've been in love with him for so many years, and I did it willingly. That night was an accident. Ningxi had no choice but to hang her head and look disappointed. Okay. If you change your mind one day and want to beat him up, remember to tell me immediately. At night, Ningxi was worried that Ning Tianxin would be alone, so she stayed the night. In the middle of the night, her phone suddenly vibrated. Seeing Lu Tingxiao's name, Ningxi immediately got up. Hello, Lu Tingxiao. Where are you? Ningxi. My cousin is here. Are you done? Lu Tingxiao. Just finished. How are you? Ningxi was stunned. These days Lu Tingxiao was either flying everywhere or having meetings and inspections. He was as busy as a spinning top. She didn't want to tell him about these troubles, but she didn't expect him to know. You don't have to worry about me. Actually, I'm fine. I can take this opportunity to solve the problem of the shares. I've already transferred the shares to my aunt. I'm with my cousin because something happened to my cousin and I might have to accompany her for a period of time. Ningxi said with a frown. Do you know about that guy's appearance today? Lu Tingxiao. I mentioned him. Actually, I wanted to ask you a long time ago. Your company doesn't seem to be very peaceful recently. Is it because... Ningxi was still worried that that guy would go crazy and do something to Lu Tingxiao because of her. Open the door, Lu Tingxiao suddenly said. Ningxi was stunned. You came to my cousin's place? Lu Tingxiao. Imagine. Ningxi didn't have time to think. She walked out of the room carefully and gently opened the door of the next room. Seeing that Ning Tianxin had fallen asleep because of exhaustion, she walked downstairs quietly. You're tuning into the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.